Slash and Burn is a podcast about fanfiction. It is filled with loud swearing and explicit sexual description. It is not for children, nor the weak of stomach, nor will. Although we attribute to authors as best we can, we have no legal rights to the written works we discuss, nor the characters and universes upon which they are based. We also firmly believe that as long as what you're doing isn't hurting anyone else, whatever you do to get your jollies is all well and good. Join us and have some laughs over the world of fanfic. And seriously, this shit is filthy. You've been warned. Welcome to the magical realm. Thank you. I had a better name to call you this week, but I lost it. I am a failure and a grump.
Oh, you are a grump.
I accidentally overwrote my original Slash and Burn episode 19 show notes for a reason I'll get into. Meason.
Steve, how much have you had to drink?
Jesus, not that much. I mean, by an objective measure, sure, a lot. By me, not that much. So what's up with you?
Not a
You're
whole...
Kera, my co-host, by the way. I'm Steve. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Are you?
I haven't had that much
Haven't
drink.
you?
I don't think so.
Not a whole lot going on here. Just the usual, you know.
Hanging, chilling.
Yeah.
A little bit of illin.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
yeah, same with me. I'm playing Black Desert Online and Overwatch and...
Is that the one with the
Duelist.
camera, the character the character creation that's so great? No?
That's Black Desert Online.
Okay, so no.
Overwatch is the one with all the porn getting made.
Oh, right. I played that slider game.
Oh, yeah. Did you play it? Okay.
Did.
Yeah, I found an Overwatch Porn 2048 game, which was pretty fun to play.
Yeah.
A lot more fun than regular 2048 anyway.
I mean, I probably think that it was about the same amount of fun, but...
Nope. I was really dying to see what that 1024 was going to be. Never quite made it there. So it's been a while since we touched a children's cartoon.
Gross.
Except that's a lie because we did Transformers just a bit ago.
Yeah.
But anyway...
I mean, Shrek was also kind of... Totally,
that's a real good point, actually.
So it hasn't been that long.
No, it hasn't at all. But we're doing another one. This time we're going to do Adventure Time. What time is it?
It's Adventure Time.
There's no it's.
I'm sorry. I failed you.
Now, Adventure Time was not our first choice for this week, actually.
No.
First our choice was Archer.
Which was an adult cartoon.
Which is an adult cartoon, yeah. I have that right down on here. And I had this really great bit during the intro that I was going to do about how our stories were going to have to do with hitting bullseyes and fletching and felching. I was going to transition into that, but then when we started looking into Archer, holy fuck, was it boring.
I've never been so bored in my life.
There was not much of it, and none of it was interesting or good, in any way.
Or in any way different or fun.
There was one that I found that was kind of okay, but it wasn't super archery, and it was focused in a tag that I think that we might do shortly, so maybe I'll bust it out for that tag.
Yeah, I didn't find anything that was really out there, and it was really disappointing.
It was really disappointing. So we bailed and we switched to Adventure Time. We've also decided, since the idea was that we were going to come up with these topics a couple days ahead of time, and that would give us time to find out if a topic sucked before we started.
The fact of the matter is
working on it. But we are both terrible people.
Yeah.
So that never happened.
Such procrastination.
And as such, what we've now decided is, after this last cat-ass trophy, is that we now have a emergency subject.
Right.
That we're going to research as time goes by, and we're going to find the best stuff that we can for it. And then, when we inevitably pick a thing 13 hours before we record and start looking into it 5 hours before we record, and then discover, whoops, this is bad, we can just bail to that thing, and then we'll come up with a new emergency subject.
But hopefully that'll stop happening, because it's a real downer, I think, when I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good one, and then it's like, oh, this is all pretty boring and
Right,
not
because
that poorly
Archer
written.
it's got a lot of possibilities, right?
That's how you get ants. That's what I was
looking
for.
That's how you get ants, and it's a pseudo realistic show. You know what I mean?
I do.
It's based on human beings who do things,
right? Sexual things. So
a lot of sexual things, but also, but it's also got that aura of, hey, we're going to make 15% of every episode be wacky, nonsensical bullshit that you think they could pull some cool stuff into. Like, if you don't watch Archer, one of the characters is actually married to a hologram AI that he created. So I thought that would be a cool thing.
You would think there'd be tons of stuff
and there wasn't very much. I mean, there was a little bit of him, but there was almost none of her. What's her name? Akiko?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
But, like, there wasn't that much Archer to begin with.
There was very little, and what was there was so boring. So, anyway, Adventure Time. That's what we're doing. And this one, I'm pretty happy with the way that it turned out, especially compared to Archer. For those of you who don't watch it, it's on Cartoon Network. It's a post-apocalyptic, although that's mostly in the background. You don't get a lot of the post-apocalypse stuff, but in the backstory of Adventure Time, it is after the apocalypse has happened, the Mushroom War, they call it. But it is a fantasy cartoon. I am not as caught up on it, so a lot of stuff that I was most
reading,
of that stuff was in like season 2.
I mean
the Mushroom War stuff.
No.
Mushroom War named for a mushroom cloud that ostensibly destroyed humanity, but reintroduced magic to the world.
Really?
Yes. Oh, God, yes. Really.
I'm sorry, I must have only seen the first season. Is it on somewhere I can go catch up?
Yeah, it's all on Hulu.
Because I have that.
All of it.
I have everything now.
So, anyway, post-apocalyptic, but only sort of in the backstory. Fantasy cartoon. It's about Finn the human. He's apparently the last human boy. He's got a magical shape-shifting dog friend. They were raised by his magical speaking. I'm not sure if Jake's parents could shapeshift, but they could definitely talk and acted like people. Anyway, they go on a lot of adventures. If you haven't seen this, then you are missing out because it's good. It's really good. Like it is targeted towards children, I suppose, apparently, but there's a lot of stuff in it that A, children wouldn't get, and B, if children got it, I would be genuinely worried for their welfare. But it's very good. It's very creative, and I like it a lot. So if you haven't seen it, A, check it out because it's great, and B, you probably won't get much of any of this if you don't. I'm going to do my best to explain the general gists of stuff that we get to.
You'll be explaining it to some of it to me as well.
Yeah. But... so was there anything that any just general thoughts about the fandom, what you found that you wanted to talk about?
I found that like most
examples?
Fandoms that we do, like there's an overabundance of like certain pairings and then a whole lot less of others. Right.
Adventure Time fanfiction community is super inbred. And what was interesting to me about the inbreditude of it was that like 90% of these stories are a pairing of Prince Gumball and Marshall Lee. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't know anything about Adventure Time...
I know this, though.
You probably don't know that... I say that, and you're probably like, well, why is that weird? Here's why that's weird. So, the show is technically named Adventure Time with Finn and Jake. It's about a boy named Finn and his magical dog named Jake. There was an episode late in season 1, early in season 2, don't really remember, that was Adventure Time with Fiona and Cake, where they were gender swapped. Now, I say gender swapped, but it's not gender swapped as...
In the way that creeps you out?
In the way that creeps me out, because while they are of the opposite gender, they are disparate characters. They have a lot of similarities to the characters that they're representing in the non-gender swapped universe, but they are distinct in other ways. You know what I mean? So it's not just Finn without a penis. It's not just Jake with a vagina. Cake is also a cat instead of a dog. But, and so all of the characters are gender swapped in this way, where they are their distinct personalities. They're not just the reverse gender of the character that's in the show with all of the same properties as that original character. Right. But every character has their mirror reverse gender thing in this universe. But here's the thing you find out at the end of the original Fiona and Cake episode is that Fiona and Cake and all of these AU characters exist in a fan fiction that the Ice King, who's one of the primary antagonists, has written in order to get himself closer to Finn and Jake because he wants to be their friend, but they don't like him. So you got this super meta thing where almost all of the stories are written about two of these characters who literally, in a show that has hundreds of episodes, these guys, I believe, literally show up 3 times. They are the mirrors of Princess Bubblegum and Marceline, and their names are Prince Gumball and Marshall Lee. And this is like almost every story is the two of them getting together. Even though canonically, not only do they not have a relationship, but even Marceline and Bubblegum don't have a relationship. Well, a sexual romantic relationship, canonically. So I found that weird. Second to that, by another huge margin, is actual Bubblegum and Marceline. And then every other character in the show that has dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of characters, including the 2 main characters whose names are in the show, get shoved into this one little corner, 1% of all the rest of the stories, which I found weird. Yeah.
It was definitely, I think, very heavily evident in this particular fandom. It happens in a lot of fandoms, but it's really, really bad in this one.
And the fact that it's actually represented within the fandom itself as a fan fiction kind of adds
it's pretty crazy.
A second layer to it, right? But so how many did you got?
I got 3.
You got 3.
Yeah.
I technically have 4. The one I'm just going to touch on, I was going to do it originally, but then I found some other stuff that I liked better. But this just touches on it. So the one I'm just going to mention in passing real quick. It's called Not My Fault, Your Hair's So Tasty. It's by Sarah J. on Archive of Our Own, and it is about Marceline and Bubblegum. So those would be the real, actual characters, not the fake joke AU in universe, but still AU characters that pretty much everybody else writes about because they're dudes and fanfiction writers are deviants and all they can focus on is guy on guy. Hey. Shouldn't say all. Sorry, that's a gross overgeneralization. 90% of what they do is guy on guy. But anyway, Marceline likes eating Princess Bubblegum's hair. Princess Bubblegum...
Sure, yeah.
She's made out of candy, and her hair is made out of bubblegum. She's the ruler of the Candy Kingdom. And so there's that. They're like sitting on the couch watching TV or whatever. And Marcy is like just chewing on Bubblegum's hair, and Bubblegum's like, stop that. And she won't knock it off. And then Marceline pulls up Bubblegum's skirt and starts going down on her, like just on the couch or whatever.
Quickly.
Hey, pay attention when her hands planted themselves in Marceline's hair, pulling her close as the vampire queen licked and suckled her sticky flesh. So I like the idea also. This is something that I don't know that it's ever directly addressed, whether PB has... we know her hair is made out of bubblegum, right? It's like Bazooka Joe. It's like pink. Like you imagine it's that consistency.
See, but I didn't really.
Well, chewed Bazooka Joe, I would say.
I know that that's what it's supposed to be, but I never really thought about it until some of these stories started,
But one thing that I can't, and I've watched, the first 6 seasons in their entirety, I can't remember a time where they've mentioned whether her skin is kind of like a peppermint candy, like if you lick it.
Right.
And then, put it down for whatever reason, or you have to, spit it out, but then it's, got that weird sticky quality. Well, but I like the idea that that's the way that her skin just is all of the time.
The one that I looked into, but ultimately decided against, was, a Night Vale crossover, and, they ended up going through the door and ended up in the desert. That her skin was getting, sticky in the sunlight, and I was like... Because
she was, kind of almost melting?
Yeah, I was really uncomfortable for some reason about that. It really weirded me out.
But Marceline, more, yes! She threw back her head, spreading her legs wider. Marceline's forked tongue slithered in and out until it settled against her clit, and Bubblegum soon climaxed with a scream. Marceline lifted her head, licked her sticky lips, and smiled. Now, what were you saying? And the whole reason that I'm bringing this story up at all is for this. Marceline, Bubblegum panted, pushing her skirt back down. You can't always derail an argument with oral sex, which, on our train of things that would make good t-shirts...
Yes.
I think that would make a spectacular one.
You can't always derail an argument with oral sex.
Or, you can always derail an argument with oral sex. We could get a t-shirt war going on. You pick your side. You buy that t-shirt. And then, at Slash and Burn Con 2019 or whatever, we total them all up,
what's
right?
That game
Maybe they've all got ARFID chips in them, and when you just walk in, it counts you, and then we count.
What's the game that you would play when you were a kid, where you would all link arms and someone would charge at it?
Red Rover?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I was picturing the war as.
Oh, we'd have a
line everybody up,
derail all problems with oral sex. Red Rover war at our inaugural Slash and Burn Con.
That's how I was envisioning it. Yeah.
But that was all I really wanted to talk about from that one. So, how do you feel about your closer?
I loved it.
Okay, so you want to close then?
I can. Sure.
Okay, all right. Then I'll go first with a real one. Mine is this one is called Payment of Another Kind. It is by
I looked at that one.
Mukata_Toby, Tobi on Archive of Our Own. How do you feel, Kira? I'm speaking to you, but imagine I'm talking to you too, listener. How do you feel about underage stuff?
That's why I didn't pick that one.
Well, see, here's the thing. The main character of the show is 14 years old, so I figured at some point we'd have to touch on this, at least in some respect. I now have here written in all caps, I'm going to read it exactly. Steve's note. All characters represented on the show are entirely fictional, so this isn't like actually fucking a 14-year-old, I swear. So just keep that in mind. He's a pretend 14-year-old that exists in a cartoon. He's not real, so don't get too grossed out. One of the major conceits of the show is that Finn the human, the last human that exists...
That's so weird.
He totally crushes on Princess Bubblegum, who we talked about before. She is made of candy. She is ruler of the Candy Kingdom. But he's 14, and she's at very least of age. I think they've been effusive on pinning down her exact age. But I'd put her somewhere between 19 and early to mid-20s, probably, right? And they're friends, and she likes him, but she's not in love with him. And also the age thing makes it weird. And it's also her responsibility to her kingdom, so she doesn't have time for a relationship, which is part of the reason why I can't really ship this whole Marceline Bubblegum stuff, because it doesn't. Anyway, but so Finn eventually starts dating other more age-appropriate princesses and etc. But he's always got this thing for her, burning in the back of his head, right? Especially after the thing happens where she almost dies and they reconstrue her, but they don't have enough candy material to make her back at her full size. So when they make her back again, she's only 13 or 14 like Finn is, and they have these couple of months where they're the same age and they connect on a level they never did before.
Wow.
That seems to me like that was a part of the show that you haven't actually seen yet.
No, I have not seen
that. Happens, but eventually the Earl of Lemongrab comes, and since P-Beebs isn't of age to rule the kingdom anymore, that means by default he gets to rule the kingdom. He starts fucking up the whole Candy Kingdom.
That guy.
So she's like, sorry, Finn, I hate to do this, but I have to go back to being old enough to rule the kingdom again. And then she's remade that way, and everybody's very sad, and all that.
Where did they get the candy from if they didn't have it in the first place?
The other citizens of the Candy Kingdom donate parts of their bodies to...
just to get rid of Lemongrab. How sweet.
He really fucks stuff up really bad. There's a lot of really cool Lemongrab stories in the later seasons that you should check out.
I love him! But I don't, but I do. You know. My husband was him for Halloween, as a side note.
Several, God, that had to be 5 years ago at this point.
A really long time.
But I was Finn, my wife was Bubblegum, and Chris was Lemongrab.
It was
we
have
some pretty cool
I'll have to see if I can dig up some pictures.
Yeah, they should definitely go on the Tumblr.
Yeah.
Anyway, eventually she grows up again. But mostly I'm just giving you that background in case you didn't know, and also so that the story that I'm about to read will make a little more sense. So Finn and Jake, they finish another important quest, and they return to tell B-Dubs the good news that the quest is finished and the Candy Kingdom is saved again. But Bubblegum says that she wants to talk to Finn in private about the reward. Jake excuses himself, says he's going to go talk to his girlfriend, Lady Rainicorn, because he knows when he's not wanted. And so here's where we pick it up. I know you've had strong feelings for me for a while, Bubblegum began with a shrug, though she averted her eyes. The teenage boy flushed pink and turned his head. Yeah, I mean, I guess I did before, but I'm doing fine with Flame Princess, he added the last bit quickly, as if to prevent any unnecessary assumptions. Yes, I'm sure you two are doing wonderful, she forced out. Look, Finn, I know that I hurt you, and I wanted to say that I'm sorry. I never meant to. You're a wonderful, sweet guy, and I do care for you very much. Finn glanced over at the beautiful girl in front of him and then shook his head, trying to force away the thoughts that provoked him whenever he was around her. You know, you have a lot of gold from your quests, and from payment from myself as well as others. This was another true fact. True facts. As one whole floor of the treehouse he and Jake lived in was filled with gold and other valuables, more than he could even begin to use now. Which is another thing that I think is a funny running joke in my show, that they're always doing these things and getting treasure for them and whatever, but their treehouse is literally just filled with piles of gold. They could buy entire kingdoms, they could buy and sell, but they never seem to. They always just, Anyway, I'm waiting for that to become a storyline, but it hasn't happened yet.
Is the show still going on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was wondering if perhaps you would accept another kind of payment. Now we're squarely in the pizza guy has showed up and I'm out of money.
Yeah.
Territory.
Yeah.
Other kind? What could she be talking about, Finn wondered, not noticing that Bubblegum had slid forward off her beanbag and was now kneeling in front of Finn.
How do you not notice that?
I guess if you're thinking about it real hard and you do that thing where you
what
look up at the
is she
ceiling.
talking about?
Right, yeah. I look up at the ceiling when I'm thinking real hard sometimes.
You look up at the ceiling far enough to not notice that someone slid off of their seat and was now looming around your areas.
I mean, look, I can't speak for Finn the Human. I'm Steve the Human, not the last of my kind. Thankfully or unthankfully? Other kind? What could she be talking about? Finn wondered, not noticing that Bubblegum had slid off of her beanbag and was now kneeling in front of Finn, her face a few inches away from his. He suddenly became aware of another feeling, too. He had felt an erection before, knew what it was, but this... Taking a moment to steal a glance down towards his crotch, he was surprised to see a pink hand slowly massaging his pants. What are you doing? Finn stammered. I can't love you the way you love me, but I can at least show you what love looks like. Man, talk about some mixed signals up in this motherfucker, right? The boy was awestruck as Bubblegum tugged his shorts down, as well as his underwear, to reveal his member. Though he was only 14, it was fairly large.
This right there, I was like,
this is my favorite line.
That's when I left this fan fiction.
It was fairly large. Perhaps this was part of his mutation that would have occurred due to the war. Again, referring to the Mushroom War.
So he's
got a giant cock based on the radioactive bombs that destroyed his people.
Okay.
And returned magic to the world. Bubblegum stroked her hand up and down his shaft, teased the tip with her fingers, pulling the foreskin away. I mean, who's going to perform the circumcision, I guess? Because dogs probably don't do that.
That's very true.
Pulling the foreskin away and rubbing it before moving her hand up and down once more. Princess, was all Finn could say in disbelief. Before he could even react, sounds like he reacted already by saying princess, the pink girl had sucked the tip of his penis, again, here we are using penis in an erotic context, into her mouth, and was sucking on it softly. Immediately, his head went back in ecstasy. I'm going to imagine that's the one on his shoulders and not the one, like a Pez dispenser.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
His hat, again, he wears a hat. That's not, I believe, again, that is not a euphemism to penis tip. Knocking loose a little. Bubblegum looked up from her position and, upon seeing his reaction, slowly sucked more of his length into her mouth. Finn's whole body shivered as she did this, and she pulled her head back a little towards the tip and then brought it back down, moving her mouth along his member the whole time, watching him with intrigue. The boy opened his mouth. I really wish they'd stop referring him to the boy.
Yeah,
perhaps the young adult.
Worse.
Perhaps the teen.
Teen is slightly better.
The boy opened his mouth and let out a soft gasp as she moved faster, flicking her tongue against the tip and stroking him. Curiously, she took her left hand, which had a rubber glove on it, and slowly inserted it into his anus.
Whoa! See, I stopped reading, so...
No mention of lube made, by the way.
Wow.
Immediately, he let out a gasp as his hips bucked, and she twisted her finger ever so slightly, releasing a quiet moan from him.
Here's the thing, though. If she was prepared enough that she was already wearing a rubber glove in readiness, like, maybe she had lubed it up beforehand and they just didn't bother to mention it. But wouldn't it have mentioned that? That just seems weird to omit. Fascinated by this, she worked her finger deep into his hole, while she sucked him off harder, bobbing her head up and down. The pleasure he felt, Finn had craved to be with the princess, and although sexual advances normally only occurred late at night when he struggled to fall asleep, Who's sneaking into his bed and putting the moves on him?
Maybe it's supposed to be like sexual fantasies or like sexual thought advances. I don't think was the word that they were really trying to use there.
Not.
When he struggled to fall asleep, he had never imagined anything like this could ever happen. This was something FP couldn't give him because it would cause pain. But now, so he's the Flame Princess, but he has to wear a tinfoil suit when they hug because otherwise she'll burn him up.
Right.
But now, the girl he had longed for was... Finn panted, feeling a pressure building up inside of him as Bubblegum's finger reached a sweet spot, causing him to moan again in pleasure. Her tongue wrapping around him... I know, that probably just means his dong, but like, I'm picturing like a Marceline snake tongue going like all the...
Same.
Sucking roughly. I feel something, he forced out of his mouth. His eyes flew up to his face, which was now looking directly at her, smiling at her cute expression, his cock in her mouth, as if she was weak.
What?
Smiling at her cute expression, his cock in her mouth, as if she was weak. That's... Man.
That's a little sexist?
The patriarchy, I guess, man. Really? Anyway, but he knew better. The princess decided to prove her strength by going faster, sucking sweetly on his tip and sliding her finger in and out of his ass quicker. With a cry of pleasure and a spasm, the teenage boy, a little bit better, orgasmed inside of this. This is like, this is the fanfic your 5th grade teacher gives as a reading assignment.
This is how your body works.
Yeah. Orgasmed inside of Princess Bubblegum's mouth, his sperm pumping into her. She took one last suck on his tip before pulling her head back and smiling. Finn, however, was laying down, that happened quick, his head over the edge of the thick beanbag, and Bubblegum took the opportunity to pick up a nearby test tube that had been lying on the floor, remove the cork, and let the semen slowly drip into the vial.
Slowly drip? Like, can't we say that she spit it out? Like, slow, she's like...
Nope, slow drip. Slow, there's no force at all, just letting gravity do its work. Before putting the cork back on and licking her lips.
That's gonna be a contaminated sample.
It was interesting, but she still savored the taste of the boy that she called her hero. I'm sorry, Finn said suddenly. What for, the princess asked, surprised. I'm happy you did that, but I can't, Bubblegum put a hand on his shoulder and smiled softly at him. I know, she responded. I've been there, and I'm sorry I played with your emotions like that. I just wanted you to feel good, and to know that love is something special that can come from anywhere. Right, so I don't love you, but here's what love is. By the way, I'm going to do it to you. Also, love is not blowjobs.
No.
Like, I am a big fan of both of those, but you can't, there's no equal sign there.
There's
At
not.
best, you get the squiggly equal sign. That means equivalence. Certainly not equality. Anyway, thanks, PB, the human responded, wiping away his tears. Don't know when he started crying. You're the best. All right, now put your pants on and scram, she said playfully. I'm sure you have lots of other things to do. Oh yeah, I have to help out the Goblin Kingdom, Finn suddenly remembered, jumping up and fixing his shorts. Catch you later, princess, he shouted as he charged out the doors. So that's like a real, just the turnaround there is so, like, spinning on a dime. The candy girl stared at him for a while and then turned to the test tube full of a thick white substance. Perhaps this will help him, she said solemnly. Gently, she placed it into a machine. So, underage oral sex on a boy who has a crush on you and also saves your kingdom and your kingdom and on the reg.
Keep talking about love?
But you totally can't get into a thing with him, but you tell him that this is what love is and love can come from anywhere. But then she secretly harvested his sperm
for reasons?
Put it into a machine. Right. Now, I'm imagining...
Is she making
so
a
here's my
clone?
thought. Here's my thought. Right, is that since she's made of candy and all the other denizens of the Candy Kingdom are made of candy, and she has demonstrated the ability to be able to create living beings out of candy. In fact, later in the series, she makes a second Lemongrab so that Lemongrab has someone to spend time with because no one will spend time with Lemongrab because he's Lemongrab.
Well, that was nice.
When you said about the contaminated sample, my thought was that somehow Bubblegum has come up with a machine that will take her saliva and Finn's jizz and create basically a Bubblegum sex doll, but a living sex doll made of candy that she can give to him as a reward for accomplishing the Goblin Kingdom mission. Right? That's a normal thing that you can do.
I bet that his girlfriend would love that also. I mean,
I'm sure that
yes, she'd be really
in this,
keen
apparently
on
he's
whole...
still with
Yeah.
FP. But as the last human, he probably doesn't know much about, like, human sexual mores, right? So maybe it's like when Austin Powers comes back or whatever, and he doesn't know that it's not cool to just get blowjobs from whoever whenever you feel like, because they're just blowjobs or, whatever the thing is. So, seems irresponsible.
Yeah,
PB.
Extremely.
And,
like, super not cool.
For
like,
not wanting to toy with his emotions.
Let's see.
She seems to be toying with his emotions
That's
a lot.
That's, like, the most toying that you could possibly do,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. If I was 14 and had a crush on an older woman, and then she blew me, and then was like, this is what love
doesn't
is.
mean anything.
Sorry. But you can get this anywhere, wherever you want to. Just not for me, except for now, I guess. I might be the most confused that any person has ever been.
I mean, I am confused, and I'm not a 14-year-old boy.
There were some other stories that were about Marceline getting rid of, and I'm using air quotes here, Finn's troublesome virginity. Now, I did want to bring this up to you because note that Marceline is at least hundreds, if not thousands of years old, and a vampire.
Yes.
So rather than a 20-year-old candy person, where there's like a 8-year age gap there, we're talking at hundreds, potentially thousands of years age gap. Is the age gap like an Ouroboros, where you get so far away that it's no longer creepy anymore?
I think yes, actually.
I kind of was feeling the same thing. It's like,
I mean, but she still looks older than him. Like, I would need to know what age she was when she turned into a vampire.
Well, I think she was always a vampire because her dad's a vampire.
So she was a baby vampire that grew up?
Well,
or did she, like, burst fully formed from her mother? Like,
you haven't seen the later seasons, but there are later seasons where you see Marceline as a child. And it's not explicitly stated, but I'm pretty sure she's already a vampire.
I don't think that's how vampires work. I mean, there's
in
a
some
lot
universes,
of different vampire
right?
lores.
In some universes, they are.
So is she eventually going to become old?
I don't think so, but I'm not really sure. I mean, she's already very old, as we've.
You know what I mean?
Is she going to look old? Probably not. As long as she keeps drinking red, anyway.
Well, that doesn't make sense. Then why doesn't she still look like a baby?
Sometimes immortals get to choose the age in which their meat shell represents them.
That seems really wishy-washy to me. Like, when do you pick that?
If you can pick it whenever. She can choose to look whatever she wants to. She just chooses to look like she's 22 or whatever.
Shape-shifting is what you're saying?
Well, right, yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like.
I mean, she also turns into that. But I mean, like she also turns into that horrible demon monster and shit. Okay, so, like, I think she can just choose to look how she wants to look.
I'll take that. Okay.
So we're in agreement. The gender gap gets so extreme that it wraps around itself, and then it's no longer creepy. At least in this universe. Please do not write me angry letters. So that's my first story, and it involved an underage blowjob.
It did involve that.
Check.
I didn't know this was a list. It's the worst list.
I meant like we were playing chess, and now I'm waiting for your counter move.
Oh, I see.
To my underage blowjob.
Checklist, which you were hoping to check off. My next story is actually one
your
of
first
the...
story.
Oh, yeah, well, it's also the next one.
Technically.
Is actually one of the Prince Gumball Marshallese that we spoke of. Two of mine are, actually. I'm sorry to say.
No, it's, I mean, I managed to avoid them entirely, so it's fine.
Okay, well, that's good. Then I will, I've got it covered.
And it really is like most of the fandom. It's bizarre.
I know. It's super weird. But this one's called 7 O'Clock, and it's by Categorized Chaos on Archive of Our Own. And this is basically that Gumball is, like, he's like the punk kid at a private school. I'm using air quotes here. You can't hear them on the microphone. But then Marshall Lee shows up and is actually like a punk kid.
I was going to say, because Prince Gumball is like the least punk.
Well, that's what I was a little...
He's like the most regal and proper. Like way more even than like Princess Bubblegum is. Her male counterpart is way more like princely than she is princessly.
Here, I'm just going to... This one's not that long. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm probably going to read a good portion of it just to make it pretty obvious. Like, I picked this because I was rolling my eyes so hard at whoever wrote it. Gumball was lounging outside the school around the back of the brick monolith, alone except for the dumpsters hiding him from sight. His pack of cigarettes sat heavy in his pocket, but a quick glance around showed him no one was staring. He had no reason to smoke. So, like, this is all, like, he's trying to impress people, I guess?
But no one's there.
Right, so no one's there, so he's not going to bother having a cigarette, because nobody's going to see him smoking it and be like, oh, look at that guy smoking a cigarette. You know? So
Are they candy cigarettes?
This is an AU, so I think that they're, like, people at...
His name is still Prince Gumball. Okay.
Well, his name is Gumball. It doesn't
it doesn't say Prince?
No.
Okay.
So someone comes walking up to him. Hey, you got a smoke? Gumball opened his eyes and looked up at the guy standing in front of him. He wasn't a preppy kid. He looked like Gumball. His uniform was nowhere in sight, instead replaced by a beat-up flannel and jeans. His hair was dark in a way that only dye gave you. Several piercings lined his ears, and a ring lived in his lip. Yeah, Gumball reached in his back pocket to grab his own pack where he had gotten over his initial surprise.
No one keeps their cigarettes in their back pocket. That's the dumbest place to keep your cigarettes. Sorry, go on.
It's fine. It's fine. He gives the cigarette to this new kid. He nodded in a way of thanks and lit it himself. Gumball looked at him as he lit up, and he realized he wasn't going to scamper off. He wasn't impressed by Gumball's dyed hair, and didn't care about his nose ring or the fact that his uniform wasn't correct. As this asshole stood in front of him and smoked without a worry in the world, Gumball realized for the first time since he was thrown in here, he was the one flinching away. What's your name, pretty boy? The dark-haired guy asked, one hand shoved into his pocket and the other holding on to his cigarette. He wasn't looking at Gumball, instead off toward the field. Gumball scoffed. I'm not fucking pretty. That was a lie. It's Gumball. The guy snorted, looking at him with one elegant eyebrow quirked before pressing the filter to his lips again. And yours? So, they stare at each other in the way of teen boys trying to mark out territory. You think you're the king here, don't you? He asked, turning back towards Gumball as he put his smoke out. Well, sorry, Gummy. You're about to be dethroned.
Gummy.
So, I'm just gonna read some more of the bits that made me roll my eyes. So, over the course of a couple days, this guy starts, impressing everyone, and nobody's afraid of him anymore.
With how cool he is,
yeah.
And how many piercings he's got.
Gumball was convinced that he was still the king. No one else agreed with him. They now slammed into him in hallways and commented on when his hair, when the dye started to fade. Girls were starting to show more interest, and a jock actually called him a twerp. Gumball was losing his grip on the school, and it was driving him insane.
We need to bring that back.
The day that Marshall started sitting in his alley, Gumball started to smoke regularly. The day the jock called him a twerp, he stopped wearing his uniform. The day a pretty, pale girl asked him if he was going to Tolo, he started looking for used motorcycles on Craigslist. So he's gotta, up his cool, I guess. And I had to look up Tolo on Urban Dictionary, and that is apparently... Tolo is a dance, usually at high schools, in which girls ask boys to go as their dates.
I thought that was called the Sadie Hawkins.
It's a similar concept, yeah.
Okay.
So a girl tried to ask him to a dance. That's how not afraid of him people are now. He's devastated. As he was striding out to lunch one day, music blaring in his ears, someone else tried to talk to him. It was a tiny freshman in his science class. Gumball stared down at him as the mousy boy attempted to talk over his music. When he didn't give up, Gumball finally pulled one of his headphones out. What? The freshman didn't even look surprised or exasperated. He just launched into his spiel again. Hi, Gumball. So, did we have science homework last night? The only reason I'm asking you is because I don't really have any friends in the class, but you seem nice, and I didn't want to bug you, but I just need to know, so don't freak out, and I'm already kind of freaking out. Do we have homework? Gumball's vision ran red. He restrained his anger. It wasn't this poor freshman's fault. No, we didn't. His voice was shaking with emotion. But before he could blow up on the nervous boy, he swept out of school and to the alley he and Marshall were now forced to share. So he's really devastated because the people of the school are supposed to be afraid of him, and now this freshman felt comfortable enough asking him a question, even though he was clearly trying to listen to his
But since
music.
this is an AU, he can't actually fall back on his royal bloodline in order to intimidate people, because I guess he's not actually
No, I don't know
a
what...
prince.
Yeah. Marshall comes up and sees him having a freak out in the middle of the alley. And he breaks it down pretty hard for him. You're such an idiot. This was never your fucking school. He went more serious as he shoved Gumball away. The smaller boy stumbled, his face pained with surprise as Marshall continued to close the distance between them. You were a filler until someone with bigger balls came in and could really rule it. You're no better than that jock who decided to bully you, or the dumbasses who wear their uniform to school every day and have straight A's. Venom flew from his lips. Back the fuck up and realize your place is looking pretty and being a sidekick. So they get chest to chest and are like shouting each other's face, and
then they totally make out.
Yeah, how'd you guess? But like I don't really care that much about the makeout. It was just kind of boring. And they agree to go on a date together, and then that's the end of the story.
Really? That's really how it ends?
Mm-hmm.
I was just joking when I said, and then they make out. I
They
figured
did.
this was going to be like just a slice of life, like
Nope.
an angsty thing with no actual...
Nope, they started making out, and then they stopped, and then they're gonna go on a date later, and then that's the end.
Now...
I just really enjoyed, like, the things, I guess, that it takes to be a cool kid.
High school's so dumb.
Like, I wear my uniform slightly different, and also I smoke when people are looking at me, like, and I need to be cooler, so I'll look on Craigslist for a motorcycle. I probably don't say it that way. This is why I wasn't a cool kid.
Yeah, I don't, man, me neither.
I mean, there was a lot of reasons, I'm sure, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with this characterization of Gumball.
Well, yeah, I didn't think it really measured up to what I've come to understand about the character.
Yeah, it seems weird. It just, it doesn't, like, I get that it's, I get that he's probably not actually made of candy. I could accept that. I guess I get that he would have to dye his hair in order for it to be pink because he's not made of candy and therefore doesn't have gum hair. But I don't know. It didn't seem to match like his personality at all. Like he's very proper and very like assured of his place and whatnot.
Right.
So that, but I mean Marshall, that seems about right for the most part. But yeah.
Does the lip ring live in his lip?
I don't specifically remember any piercings on him, but it wouldn't be out of place, I would say, at all. My second story is called Lumpy's on Lifeguard Duty.
Oh boy.
It's by, now I have written here, Hamateed, Hmatead. Something tells me that maybe I mistyped that, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Either way, on Archive of Our Own, it's called Lumpy's on Lifeguard Duty. It's one of the few things that if you search the title on Archive of Our Own, this is the only thing that will come up. I know that for a fact because I found it out earlier. So, remember when I mentioned about Finn macking on other princesses after Bubblegum finally turned him down for the last time? Well, in the show, he ends up with Flame Princess, which was also mentioned in my last story. I didn't find much Finn x Flame Princess stuff. Maybe it was because of the physical problems with them getting it on, considering she's made out of fire and he has to wear an aluminum suit just to hug her. But also because you fanfiction writers are all fucking deviants. Instead, I found this.
Well, I mean, I'm not a writer, so whatever.
Here is the author's summary. Summary. Finn has set himself the task of making out with every princess in the land of Oo, but is in for a bit more than he bargained for when he gets to Lumpy Space Princess. Set during Breezy, Season 6, Episode 6. Now, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen Season 6, so I don't know if Finn actually sets out on a quest to make out with every princess in the land of Oo.
Don't worry, I'm taking care of it.
So, that's the author's note, and here's where it starts out.
The synopsis of the episode is, with a friendly bee named Breezy as his wingman, Finn decides to get back into the dating game to help his wilting arm flower.
Okay, well that explains the flower here. I don't know what that is either.
Nope.
I really guess I should watch Season 6. I know all about your dirty deeds, the Lumpy Space Princess said with a smirk as she hovered over Finn, who had fallen to the floor in surprise, his flower sticking out limply. See, I didn't understand what that meant before. Lumpy Space Princess, by the way, she comes from Lumpy Space. So I'm almost a little bit... I'm conflicted with them saying that he's making out with every princess in the land of Ooh.
Right.
Because LSP isn't really from Ooh. She's from Lumpy Space. But she's basically a amorphous, floating, gloppy purple cloud.
That's gross.
Now it's Lumpy's turn to slump those lips. Bring it in, baby. Lumpy leaned down towards Finn, closing her eyes and preparing herself for the moment she had been longing for so long. But as soon as their lips had touched, Finn pulled away, looking uncomfortable. What? Where are you going? Where are you going? Sorry, that was me. Lumpy asks, surprised at how brief the longed-for moment had been. Finn looked up at her, confused by her sudden change of tone. That's it. We made out, Finn tried to explain, wondering why LSP seemed so surprised. What the what? I didn't wait infinity for a dip in the kiddie pool, Lumpy exclaimed, her eyes staring into Finn's eyes with a mixture of longing and frustration. She breathed heavily and dug her fingers into the chin of Finn's hood. Leaning towards his...
Okay.
Not his penile hood.
Oh my.
Which we know that he has, since who would circumcise him.
Good gracious. It's like, that sounds like painful, I guess.
But yeah, no, Finn wears a hood hat thing.
How big is it? Like...
She breathed heavily and dug her fingers into the chin of Finn's hood. Leaning in towards his face, she looked from his eyes to his lips and back again. We're taking this to the deep end, she told Finn. Not a question, but a command. But I'm not a good swimmer, Finn said cautiously, still not entirely sure of what exactly it was Lumpy wanted from him. Don't be scared, Finn, LSP responded, her soft purple fingers grasping tighter onto the material just beneath his chin. Lumpy's on lifeguard duty.
Wow. You know, I think the worst part is that I can kind of almost, like, hear
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish I could do the voice. I can't.
I wish you could do. You can try.
No. I'm saving. Listen, I honestly remember a couple episodes ago I said I had that one story that I was saving and that I was going to try to do the voice.
Are you reciting it in the mirror every morning?
Not exactly, but I've been practicing my Rick voice for when that day comes. And it should come before too long because I'm honestly dying to do Rick and Morty in the wake of waiting for more Rick and Morty. Anyway, the next thing Finn was aware of was a mass of purple pushing him down into the grass of the forest floor. Lumpy Space Princess had her lips firmly pressed against his, moving as if she was trying to eat his entire mouth.
Oh my god.
It was quite hard to breathe.
It's the least sexual thing I've ever read in my whole life.
Well, lumpy is a bad adjective to begin with, even on the end, or even as a prefix to Space Princess.
Yes.
Lumpy as a prefix to anything makes it difficult to... Anyway, moving as if she was trying to eat his entire mouth. It was quite hard to breathe underneath the sheer mass of LSP's lumps. So Finn had to resort to taking small breaths in through his nose whenever he could. Suddenly, something new entered the picture, making him jump and his head move uncomfortably. A warm mass had entered his mouth, and it took him a moment to realize, spelled incorrectly, that it was Lumpy's tongue, circling his gums and tasting his saliva.
Ew.
Tasting his saliva is that's a pretty evocative phrase.
That is really gross, is the phrase, I think.
Finn desperately tried to remember what Jake had told him about dating back when he had been with Flame Princess. Tier 1, that was hugging. Tier 2 was smooching. But this felt like a bit more than that, especially now. LSP had pulled off his hat and was running her squishy fingers through his shoulder-length blonde hair. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Lumpy raised her mouth off his and lifted up her head for breath. She looked down at him. Finn the cute little human, strong, brave, a true hero. Did he have abs? She slowly slid her hands down from his head over his head. From his head over his head, caressing his cheek as she went, then onto his shoulders and onto his chest. Finn could feel his heart pounding in his chest. Chest.
What word are you really gonna use, though? Like...
Pecs? I guess pecs doesn't really work for a 14-year-old boy. Probably torso? Upper torso.
That's less sexy.
We've already established that this is the least sexy thing that's ever happened.
I think this, proves that you can sexualize literally anything.
He was scared, but there was another emotion in there, too. An emotion without a name that he could remember feeling towards Flame Princess, and had always felt a little bit towards Princess Bubblegum. What was that? As Lumpy slid her hands under his t-shirt, pulling it over his head and tossing it to the side, he couldn't help but feel oddly excited. Maybe simply because of how utterly weird and wrong this all was.
To be fair, they didn't say that he was 14 in this story, did they? Like, can we just assume that
No,
he was, like, 18?
They didn't. I guess by season 6, maybe he's aged a bit. Oh my glob, Finn, Lumpy exclaimed, looking down at his naked torso. You have, like, a hella hot body. Thanks, Finn replied uncertainly, noticing how cold the gentle breeze was now that he was slightly less clothed. Lumpy ran her hands over across his chest and down onto his sides. Finn's breathing increased a little more with every gentle touch of her lumpy skin. Lumpy breathed deeply, smirked, and made eye contact with Finn, who had lifted his head slightly to see what she was doing. All of a sudden, in one swift movement, LSP swept her hands off his chest and grabbed his crotch. Finn gasped and suddenly became very aware of the mass beneath his shorts, which was growing by the second.
Ew, don't call it a mass.
The word choices in this
Like,
are really... Some of them are forced, like Lumpy, and then other ones, like Mass.
Are they, like, making this the least sexual, like, the least sexy that it possibly can be on purpose?
It's a very good question, and I don't know the answer to it.
I'm going to choose to believe yes.
Lumpy grabbed more firmly, squeezing and releasing and moving her hand around and rubbing into the fabric beneath her hand. Finn lay his head back on the ground. This was weird, but it felt good. Maybe if he closed his mind... I don't think that's an expression. Maybe if he closed his mind, he could use his imagination to make the situation better. The first thing that came to mind was an image of Princess Bubblegum. Her soft pink skin, her delicious smell, the way her hair fell down onto her chest...
So he's fantasizing about someone else?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, he's being sort of raped. This is like... He hasn't said no. But he also hasn't consented.
Right.
So, I mean...
And I mean, if he is 14, then...
Right.
I probably skeeved out.
It's okay. None of these are real people. We're talking about a floating purple lumpy space cloud.
It's like having sex with a pillowcase full of Jell-O.
Except it floats.
Right. On a string?
No. It actually levitates. Which, I mean, if you could get me one of those, then sure, I'd probably give it a go. Lumpy's voice snapped him back. Oh, sorry. Oh, Finn, you like this, huh? Lumpy's voice snapped him back into reality as he realized his belt was being undone, and Lumpy's hands were making their way inside his shorts. I don't think Finn wears a belt. Finn replied as best he could, struggling to communicate as his attention was focused on the lump in his pants. Could have picked a different word there. And LSP's rather vigorous massage that she was giving to him.
A massage, that's one word for it.
She looked up at him once more and pulled it out of his pants. Pulled what out of his pants? Lumpy grasped Finn's sides and rolled him over, pulling him on top of her. She held him in her hands and guided him towards the smaller lumps towards her lower end. The face that Kara is making right now. So they couldn't... Like, the thing about Lumpy Space is they use lumps to refer to everything. It's kind of like Smurf.
Right.
They just use it for, like, everything. You'd think they would have a more Smurfing descriptive word for, like... I'm guessing that's supposed to be her vulva? Her lumpy vulva?
I guess.
Like,
if it's lower, like, my first impulse was boobs, but they're not lower at all.
Exactly, right. And she's also guiding him towards the smaller lumps towards her lower end. You know what I mean? So you don't generally, like, okay, time to get real again. I haven't needed guidance to get my dick near boobs. But sometimes...
Right. It happens.
Depending on lighting, inebriation, you might need some guidance.
Like, situational...
Exactly. Positioning, the relative...
We're making a lot of bodies, hand motions you can't hear.
You might need some guidance. Or LSP, I'm not sure I'm ready to, but Lumpy had already thrusted herself towards him, guiding him inside of her, so absolutely her vulva. Finn couldn't help but let out a soft moan. As wrong as this was, he was here now, and something about it felt so right. Lumpy pulled his face into hers once more, her lips once more moving with his, and her tongue sliding softly into his mouth. He moved unprofessionally up and down. Which don't know that there's a much better word to describe it, I guess, if you're a 13-year-old boy and it's your first time. Very unprofessional.
Holy crap.
Was he doing this right? He honestly didn't know. It felt good, though. Lumpy seemed to be enjoying it. Ugh, he was with an LSP. He closed his eyes once more and again envisioned Bubblegum. Is this okay? You're a feminist. You're fully woke, right?
Yeah.
Which is a thing I just found out happened this week. How long is it? Okay, how far am I behind the times that I just found out that woke was something this week?
A while.
So define a while.
Oh,
Weeks,
God.
months?
I'd say probably at least months.
Okay.
Longer than that. A year?
No, whatever.
It's a while.
Not a year, I don't
Dude.
think. Okay, as a woke feminist, you're doing it with somebody, but you're closing your eyes and envisioning somebody else as hard as you possibly can. Is that sexual
really
assault towards the person you're envisioning?
Towards the person you're envisioning?
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm doing it with someone and I'm thinking about the attractive...
Viggo Mortensen.
I was going to say the attractive brother from Vampire Diaries.
Or,
Am I sexually
they're both
assaulting
attractive,
him?
fuck you. Yes.
No.
Okay.
Why would it be?
I was just curious what your thoughts were. After that lady yesterday said, unironically, that she was okay that kid got eaten by the alligator because her dad was a white guy who ignored signs, I'm not sure what you people think anymore.
Who said that?
I don't know, some lady on Twitter.
I'm really
It blew up. You really didn't...
About the alligator.
Yeah, no, there was no, it was like, I'm so sick of middle-class white men's bullshit that I'm not even that upset that a 2-year-old got eaten by an alligator.
Oh my god!
His daddy ignored signs was a real thing that was tweeted and
rough.
was ridiculed. Dating myself with this reference, by the way. Hopefully. Anyway, as long as 2-year-olds aren't getting eaten by alligators like every week.
I mean, that whole situation is really screwed up. But anyway, this is not alligator boy.
So you don't consider that to be sexual assault?
No.
You made it sound, however, like you might think it is sexual assault towards the person for whom eyes closing you are.
No, I was
Also
thinking
not?
that
Okay.
he was being sexually assaulted.
Okay,
If it was that
interesting.
unpleasant for him. But he hasn't, like, he's had every opportunity to be like, how about we don't do this? And he hasn't. But
True.
again, he also hasn't been like, yeah, put it in.
And he's also not of the age of consent.
Right.
But here's the other thing. We're much less sure on LSP's age. I think it's possible that LSP is much more closer to him, might also be a teenager of the same grade that Finn is. Anyway, he closed his eyes once more and envisioned Bubblegum. He imagined her topless, beneath him moving against her, grinding into her body, feeling so perfect. He imagined he wasn't in the forest, but in her beautiful pink bed, in her room, at the top of the tower, and she was telling him she loved him, and he was telling her he loved her too, and everything was perfect. His perfect image disappeared once more, however, as Lumpy Space Princess let out a loud gasp. Yes, Finn, yes! It suddenly dawned on Finn what was happening. But it was too late. She was gasping, and so was he. He was going faster, and he couldn't stop himself. With a final outburst of breath, he climaxed and crumpled exhaustedly onto Lumpy's body.
So it took that long for him to realize what was going on?
Well, I think he just...
He only realized that he was about to ejaculate?
Exactly.
Okay.
He just realized that he was like, oh my god, what am I doing? Oh, I'm overloading. It's too late. And then he overloaded. Right. I think that's what it meant. Oh, had he just done what he thought he had? Was this the tier 15 that Jake had warned him never to do? Had he wasted his first time on LSP of all people?
Oh my god. That's a man.
He rolled over and zipped up his fly before pulling his shirt and hat back on. He kept facing away from Lumpy, too embarrassed, two is spelled with only one O, and ashamed to bear to look at her. That was awesome, Finn, Lumpy gasped, sitting up and laying a hand on her shoulder. He shook her off, laying a hand on his shoulder. That was probably supposed to be, I think. Yep. Oh, Finn, what's the matter? Aren't you happy? Finn continued to look away, his cheeks burning and his clothes damp from the ground. I'm going for a walk, he mumbled, shuffling to his feet and walking as fast as he could into the trees. At last he settled himself onto a log overlooking a small pond and put his face into his hands. I'm going to forget you did that, Finn murmured to himself, sighing. Right in the vault. Now, that last line isn't attributed to anybody, but I'm assuming that it's supposed to be LSP is saying that back in the forest meadow.
Really?
Well, I thought so. Oh, no, I guess you're right. See, I was thinking like Spank Vault.
No,
but no, you're right. The way that the paragraph is broken up made me think that that was the way it was. But I think
putting it in the dungeon of his mind palace.
You are. I think that he's
erasing
also are correct now. Yep.
Man, this is a real downer, Steve.
I know. Despite some really hilarious word choices, that one was really pretty kind of dark. Yeah.
Yeah, it grosses me. Ow. I'm super grossed. You're gonna sit here in my kitchen and talk about an underage boy being raped?
By maybe an underage lumpy girl.
Still rape, Steve.
Lumpy space floating girl.
An underage boy being raped by a disembodied pillowcase full of Jell-O?
So here's the question. Assuming it's not going to be Bubblegum, because despite my first story, canonically it doesn't make sense. Assuming it's not going to be Flame Princess, because physically it doesn't make sense. Which princess, and not LSP because you just said it was the grossest thing you'd ever heard.
I mean...
Which princess do you think Finn should lose his virginity to?
Are there others? Who else is...
All of them. Alright, I personally am torn between Hot Dog Princess, because she's a hot dog, and that's funny.
Mm-hmm. I'm into it. I ship it.
And Muscle Princess.
I'm looking them up. Hot Dog Princess is a giant hot dog. Muscle.
Muscle Princess.
Oh, I'm gonna go with that one just because I think it'd be really funny.
Okay, here's my dark horse. Oh, fuck, is it Sweet Berry Princess or Red Berry Princess? Just do Berry Princess. Wild Berry Princess. Wild Berry Princess. That's the one. See, here's my thing with Wild Berry Princess,
looks like a
right?
Raspberry.
You could probably cram it into any of those crevices, right?
I mean,
There's
no
the
how
variety is
drunk you
infinite.
Are, you're probably going to hit something.
Exactly. You're going to need no guidance whatsoever.
I still think I would like to read most about this one.
I think Hot Dog Princess. Oh, Muscle Princess? Okay.
That picture, though. It has to be that one.
I mean, that's what she looks like pretty much all the time. And that one, she looks a little more like the Hulk than she does normally, but she's obviously modeled upon the Hulk. I still think Hot Dog Princess is my number one, but what are you going to do? Anyway, I guess it's time for another one of yours.
That's true. This one, I think the title really gives it away. This is another Prince Gumball by Marceline on Archive of Our Own, and this one is called Icing for All the Pastries by Cad Kitten. So, you tell me what you think's gonna...
Is Gumball gonna bukkake all over all of the denizens of the...
Not quite.
Of the Candy Kingdom?
Close,
okay.
So, he's making pastries for some reason, like lots of baking. He's doing lots of baking, and there's like flour and crap all over, and he's a mess. And Marshall is floating around watching him, and is like, "Oh, you got really messy. Like, we should clean you up." You know,
with my tongue and dick.
Yeah. So they start doing it, and like, I don't really even. Just the last bit of this, I'll just go ahead and start reading some here. So they are, they both took their pants off. They're like, rubbing their bits together. I know that is a thing that has bewildered you before.
I don't even know how it would...
One of the reasons I picked this, because I'm telling you, I see this all the time, and I don't understand why you're so confused. And my question is this an actual sex practice that dudes engage in a lot, or is it something that's, like, unique to fanfiction?
Technically, yes, it's called frauding.
Yeah, I know it is.
I mean, I'm not a gay man, so I don't engage in it. I don't really understand how it works, I guess. Like, you know what I bring up...
JustUsBoys.com. How popular is fraudage?
Like, you know when I bring up scissoring and you, get not offended, but you're just like, that's not something. Like, why would anyone... Like, that's how I feel about fraudage. Like, I don't get it. Like, sure, it feels good to have your dick rubbed against something, but I don't even, like... Here's the thing about dicks, right? Like, they're very... I'm not even going to say malleable, but they don't stay in place. Like, if this is my dick...
Yeah.
And you're like...
It's his arm.
Like, that's how it... You know what I mean?
That's
not
so,
like, you can't,
the action. I think you're envisioning
so
it wrong.
you're envisioning them being like this?
No.
Because that would,
they're like
go off
this.
at all. I don't think you could... That would be like... I still don't think you could actually do that. Like, I think it would just shoot off in other directions. Like,
but, okay,
your geometry would have to be perfect.
You're laying on each other.
Mm-hmm. Right, so at first, it's great. Like, here's my dick, here's your dick. They're smack on top of each other. As soon as one of us moves, it's like, watch my hands. As soon as this one moves, it's like they're just gonna go in opposite fucking directions.
I think you're overestimating the slipperiness.
It's not a slipperiness. It's just that there's nothing to hold it. Like a hole is made to hold.
Okay,
onto.
Stop. But wait though.
Do you have toothpicks?
But toothpicks aren't applicable here. Like, okay, when you're laying on your arm, all right? Right?
But it's under me, or I'm like this?
No,
or...
it's under. It's like you're laying in bed and your arm is under you. It just doesn't go shooting out the side of your body because there's something on top of it.
No, because my body is an enormous globulous mass that is going to crush.
Lovely space princess.
That is crushing my arm underneath it.
So what I'm saying is, that's more like what it's like.
But they're... Unless one dick is like the size of your KitchenAid mixer.
Oh, this is not making sense to you. I'm trying to find a video, alright?
Give me some toothpicks and I'll show you.
Dude, toothpicks are not the same thing. Because you don't have a body attached to the toothpicks. You're just picturing like two dudes standing across from each other.
No,
like,
I'm picturing them laying down.
You
just said dicks.
No, I didn't. I'm like, this is not, it's like this.
Yeah, no, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, it's not gonna, I don't see it happening. Don't see it happening.
I'm gonna find your video. Alright. Because I don't understand why this does not make sense to you.
Because they're not gonna stay, you need like some sort of adhesive.
You don't need adhesive, you're just, the pressure of each other's bodies is gonna keep them in relative place.
Okay, so if we're sandwiched...
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, that's going to be painful.
It's just sex.
Okay, here's the thing. When I'm having sex, my dick is not parallel to the rest of me.
Okay.
If I'm doing what you're describing, it would be. That angle... Not a good angle.
No good?
No.
I'm gonna go to...
Fraught.com.
No. What is
Online.fraughtonline.online.
Hi, what's up? Oh, Megan's got one.
Okay, you see how that one's going off to the side?
But they're still...
But I don't... First of all, those guys are professionals.
This was distinctly unprofessional. Oh, wait, that was your story.
And second of all, I still don't... That doesn't...
Steve, you're looking at it.
Right, I see what's happening, and I'm saying that's not... Like, right, you can keep... There's one point you can keep in constant contact, which is exactly what's happening in that picture. They start like this, right? And then one goes off this way. So there's this one little axis... where it's always touching, and the rest of the time it's going to be like going off in wacky fucking directions.
I think that you're overthinking this, and I think it's strange to me that I understand this better than you do, and I don't even have the proper equipment.
I think exactly like scissoring, it's a thing that sounds okay if you don't think about it too much, and it's probably made up entirely in erotica.
Frotman. Man-to-man-alliance.org. I'm gonna go see what they have to say about this. Anyway.
Boy, did we get off topic.
No, I mean,
well, I guess we were really off topic.
We just
tangented.
Like, this story's not that long, and I just really wanted to talk about fraud. They are frauding all over the place. Marshall, the prince muttered out, his hands tightening on the vampire's hips. His thighs trembled with the effort he put forth, straining upward. His breathing was rough, catching every so often. just enough to make Marshall smirk. What, about to lose it already? The question was teasing rather than mean, nothing serious in his tone. It's okay, I'll forgive you as long as you give me something more to bake with. There it was, their messed up, dirty little secret all out in the open. Prince Gumball released a breathless laugh, tossing his head back, his back arching. For a few seconds he didn't even breathe, and then he was coming. Spurt after spurt of the faintly pint, I'm assuming that's supposed to be pink, fluid expelling from his body. Marshall was quick, darting away and then back with superhuman speed, an icing bag clutched in his fingers.
I don't know why I didn't see that coming, but it completely blindsided me.
He had it around the head of the prince's cock just in time to catch the second wave of the other's offering, watching it fill the baggie. Licking his lips, Marshall moved back, placing the bag over his own dick, his fingers encouraging the princes to do their best work on him. Together they worked him to his end, Marshall gasping and then humping against the plastic again and again as he lost it, adding his own filling to their bag.
Wait a minute. Marshall isn't a candy man. He shouldn't be able to... Okay.
The moment he was done, he slumped down against the prince, his arms going to loosely encircle his shoulders, burying his face against the other's neck. One day, he breathed out, I will have you all to myself rather than sharing with the kingdom. Sooner than you think if we keep up with the mixture rather than just me supplying the pastries with their cream. Marshall smirked, pulling back and gently wiping himself off on the bag, standing up to fasten his pants just as the alarm went off on the oven. Without bothering with any mitts, Marshall pulled the 3 trays of pastries out and put them on the counter. He picked up the injector and held out his hand for the baggie. You baked too much. Looks like we've got our work cut out for us. The prince sauntered up behind Marshall, putting his arms around him and leaning his head on his shoulder. The grin on his lips said far more than words could have. Yes, we certainly did. That's the end. So my confusion comes in with the one day I'll have you all to myself. Like, is there some sort of edict that he has to use his ejaculate to make pastries?
Not that I know of, but again, we're talking about characters that literally have appeared in 3 episodes of a show that has been running for 7 seasons. So it's very possible that fans have created their own Marshall Ball, Gumley. I think they call it Gumley.
Really?
Bible, yeah. So maybe that is a thing with the prince's universe where he does need to provide ejaculate in order to project it. Because we've seen that. Well, I mean, technically, we've seen Princess Bubblegum create Candy Life. But we haven't seen necessarily the origin of all of the ingredients that go into her creating that.
That's true.
So maybe it is her feminine fluid that makes it up. We don't know. But canonically, I don't believe that is a certain fact. I really enjoyed that story. The frosting bag, I don't know why I didn't see the frosting bag coming, but the frosting bag was a beautiful touch.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the frosting bag. I just like the way he was like, "Whoa, hold on, let me get this around here." Like, why didn't they just put a condom on?
Continue to not get frottage.
That's okay. We'll turn you to the dark side someday. No, okay. Listen, if you are a person with actual intimate knowledge about frottage, please tell us how it works. And
please
if
let me know.
Think it's good.
Please
or
let
bad.
me know.
Is it a legitimate thing that happens or not?
All right. Here's my question. If you frot, please let me know. I'm not kidding. I won't judge you. I just don't get it. Can you keep more than 10% of the surface area of your dong in contact with the other dong for any extended period of thrusting? If you can, how? Does it involve rubber cement? If you can't, how does that still do anything for you when it's only like 10% of the... Because that's approximately what I saw in that video that my wife just showed me. What has marriage in this country become? That my wife, I don't see her for hours. She just walks into this kitchen, shows me a picture of 2 guys rubbing their dicks on each other's dicks, and then walks back out of the room. But from that, I'm gonna It could be generous with 15% surface area, right? I don't get it. I don't. But please, if you, I'm not kidding about a lot of things we say are jokes. Isn't a joke. A lot of things I say are jokes. I don't know about you. Let me know if you're someone who actually has experience with this, because I honestly don't get it. But whatever. Anyway, my last story is called "I Hate You." It's by Sailboat Supernova.
Is that one word or two?
That is all one word on Archive of Our Own. So here's a little more backstory for those of you who don't watch the show. So, BMO, pronounced like B-E-E-M-O, but spelled B-M-O, all in capitals, is a sentient game console that Finn and Jake live with. He's also their friend. Nepter is a robot that they invented specifically to throw pies at the Ice King for prank contests where they wanted to throw pies at the Ice King. Nepter is also sentient. So while BMO is a secondary character, Nepter is like tertiary at best. I'd actually call him like quadrary, if that's even a word. Like he's way out there. They pretty much wheel him out when they need to make like pie gags. So when I was going through all of the explicitly tagged stuff on AO3, I found 2 BMO pairings. And the one was BMO Bubble, which I was interested in, but didn't turn out being all that interesting, and it was also part of a much larger story that encompassed a whole bunch of other relationships. And the other one was BMO Nepter, at which point I was like, yes, this is it. So, BMO and Nepter, they both live with Finn and Jake in their treehouse. BMO feels like Nepter has like taken some of his place as like their sidekick, even though again, canonically in the show, Nepter really doesn't hang out with Finn and Jake all that much. Like every once in a while he'll just show up and Finn and Jake will be like, oh yeah, we made that guy. Hey Nepter, what's up? And that's like the end of it. But in this, BMO feels that like Nepter is like usurping his place as Finn and Jake's right-hand man or third wheel or whatever. And so eventually BMO has had enough of it and he's being all sulky and stuff. Finn and Jake say that they're going to go to Bubblegum's place to eat some dinner, and they ask BMO if he wants to come along, and he gets all pissed off. BMO, what's going on? You've been acting like this ever since what? Since Nepter came along? Since you got a new robot to play with? One that can do whatever you guys want to do? One that can't only make a new distraction for you and Jake to be entertained for a few minutes? The video game turned around in his seat, glaring at the human boy, angry tears threatening to spill over. What's your problem, BMO? You need to get a hold of yourself. I don't know what your problem is, but if you have something to say, say it. I think he just did.
Yeah. That was pretty, I thought that was pretty clear.
Right, that was like pretty out there.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't really passive-aggressive, that was just aggressive-aggressive. There was a short pause, and finally, as a flash of anger crossed the smaller creature's face, the video game finally said what was on his mind. You replaced me! Replaced me with some type of junk that you made for some ridiculous prank. I hate Nepter, and I hate you even more for making him, he screamed, loud enough for everyone in the whole treehouse to hear. Jake looked up, then down at a shocked-looking Nepter. Finn stared at BMO, dumbfounded until he frowned. So Finn and Jake feel bad that BMO feels like neglected or whatever, but they don't really know what to do about it, so they basically apologize for making him feel that way, and they say that they're going to go to Bubblegum's and get something to eat. They ask BMO if he wants to come along. BMO still says he doesn't want to. They ask Nepter if he wants to come, and this is something that they would never ever do on the show. I don't think, again, Nepter is like he's like not even like, he's like sub-cat level, you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't like be like, hey, we're going to a barbecue, like, Mako, you want to come along? You know what I mean? And that's
totally
like I don't think that you would,
but
you wouldn't ask him.
No, I would just bring him. I mean, if he was cooler about going out, I would probably take him places.
So it riles me a bit that they're like acting like Nepter is their friend now, when normally they're just like, oh, it's Nepter again. You know what I mean?
Right.
But whatever. But Nepter declines. He says he's going to stay around the treehouse and make sure that BMO is okay. So BMO runs up to his room and he cries in his bed. And
Does
then
BMO actually talk that much in the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, BMO talks a lot.
Okay.
BMO is a fully realized video game person.
Okay.
So, and that's what makes the BMO, again, you didn't see it, but BMO at one point falls in love with a Bubble and think that the Bubble also falls in love with him. And there's basically an entire episode devoted to it. It's so sweet and so sad. And so that's when I saw BMO Bubble.
I don't want to see it.
No, I think you do. But anyway, but so BMO's crying in bed, and then Finn and Jake leave, and then Neptune comes and talks to BMO after a little bit. What are you doing here? The video game asked with tears in his eyes and fear in his voice. Neptune only allowed his head to cock over slightly and his hand to move from his bedside to BMO's hip, rubbing him again in small circles with his thumb. Whoa. I'm having a hard time picturing this exactly, but okay. Why, I was just checking on you. I hate to see you cry, BMO, the gray robot replied innocently. It would be lying if BMO said he wasn't a little scared, but he couldn't let Neptune see it. So he swallowed hard and licked his lips, tasting the salt from his tears as he tried to muster any courage he could. Why? Aren't you mad? His question caused a look of thought to cross Neptune's face. Kera is showing me anthropomorphized versions of both BMO and Neptune that someone has drawn on DeviantArt, I'm just going to guess. Is it DeviantArt?
Yeah, it says it right.
It's DeviantArt. Boy, got it in one. So there you go.
I sometimes forget that place still exists.
About what you said? No, BMO, I'm not mad. Truthfully, if I were in your shoes, I would feel the same way. He paused for a short moment, then smiled. But no, BMO, I am not mad. I could never be mad at you. BMO sat, frozen, searching the other's eyes for any sign of malice, but found none. Only kindness. And something else he could not quite identify yet, but it made his stomach churn, whatever it was.
So is BMO a girl or a guy?
BMO, interesting. I believe that BMO...
Because this illustration, it says Princess BMO.
My understanding is that canonically BMO is supposed to be genderless. And here's why. In the Adventure Time Munchkin, which I own, I also own the expansion to Adventure Time Munchkin, which is a lot of fun to play. One of the things that sets it apart from other Munchkins that I have played is that you pick a character, right? So you can pick Jake or Finn or Bubblegum or Marceline or Lady Rainicorn or BMO, I believe are the 6 options, right? But there are certain things in the game that make your gender matter. Like certain monsters get a +2 females. And it's not whether you, yourself, the person playing is a female, it's whether your character is a female.
Okay.
So if I were Princess Bubblegum, then the monsters that got pluses against females would get pluses against me. But there are several cards in the game that flop your gender. And on the other side of your character card is the AU that we were talking about with Gumball and Marshall Lee version of that character. So there's Marshall Lee, and there's Prince Gumball, and there's Fiona, and there's Cake, and there is Lord Monochromicorn. But BMO, when you flip him over, is just BMO. BMO does not change, and it even says on BMO's card that gender-specific things do not apply to BMO in any way. Interesting. So I believe that BMO is square in the middle of the gender slider.
Interesting.
BMO sat frozen, searching the other's eyes for any sign of malice, but found none. Only kindness, and something else that he could not quite identify yet, but made his stomach churn, whatever it was. He could feel his body begin to relax against his mind's wishes. BMO couldn't let his guard down, not yet. But why would you say that? Oh, because I love you, BMO, Neptune said with a warm smile that made BMO's heart stop. He what? You're lying, BMO yelled, trembling, although from fear or excitement he didn't know. Excitement? Why would I be excited? BMO, I do not lie, he said, scooting a bit closer to him. I have loved you for some time now, he continued, his smile becoming a bit softer. And I could never lie to someone I love. He lifted a hand to BMO's face, running it through his silky hair. I don't remember BMO having silky hair at all.
I'm telling you, it might be the pictures I just showed you.
A blush stretched across his cheeks as Neptune lowered his face to his and brushed their lips together. The first kiss was short and chaste. Chaste?
That's how I say it, but...
Barely any contact at all between the two. The second was a bit longer, their lips actually making contact this time. The third was a bit more fevered. And finally, the fourth was a full-blown makeout. Tongues mashing and teeth clacking together. Ugh. Teeth clacking is not something I'm looking for in my makeouts. Neptune moaned softly, holding BMO to him as he licked at the inside of his mouth. BMO laid on the... Now, that's the other thing. BMO doesn't technically has a mouth. He has a screen that he can project lips or teeth or whatever on, which is lending
how
more
are
and
their
more
teeth
credence
clacking?
to your... Yeah. Neptr moaned softly, holding Bimo to him as he licked at the inside of his mouth. Bimo laid on the bed, whimpering softly as one hand gripped the back of his shirt and the other running through Neptr's gray hair. So there's more hair. I don't believe Neptr has
shirts
hair.
either.
Right. So my vision of this is quickly getting dispelled now that you're pointing all these things out to me. I think these might be anthropomorphized versions of these two robots, like people made up those Animu girls for the different versions of Windows and Linux and OS X and stuff. What are they called? What do they call those?
I forget.
But so maybe that's what this is, which is real unfortunate to me, but I'm going to keep reading it anyway. They pulled apart for a moment, gasping for air. Neptr leaned down and flicked his tongue out, licking up the side of Bimo's neck to behind his ear, where he began to gently suck on his earlobe. See, now Bimo certainly doesn't have hair. Oops.
Nah.
So, damn it. Neptr smiled and chuckled. If only Bimo knew how lovely he sounded. As he left a trail of light kisses and small nips with his front teeth down his neck, he let his left hand rest on Bimo's knee. Slowly, he sucked on his green flesh as he let his hand rise up his smooth thigh. Calmly, Neptr's hand slid up under his dress. Bimo also doesn't wear a dress.
So it's a girl in this, right? Then
I mean, it says his, though.
Oh, okay.
His dress, it says, specifically. I still think Bimo is supposed to be entirely gender neutral.
Okay.
Maybe he's like a transformer.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have both parts.
Exactly.
Right, all right.
We'll find out shortly, I think. Could you find the name of the OS anime girls?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm still working on that one. I got sidetracked.
Under his dress, although he wasn't exactly sure what to think of what he felt, or rather didn't feel when he did so. He looked up to see a deeply blushing Bimo looking back at him. No underwear? He asked with a seductive grin. Kinky, heh. He continued with a childlike giggle. Gross.
OS tan.
That's the one. Bimo's blush deepened as he tried to think of some excuse for the lewd act. Neptr let his hand rise higher, making Bimo rather nervous, and it showed in more ways than one. Well, it looks like someone is a bit eager, he said, and he pressed his finger against the growing lump under his dress. So, are we thinking dick? Are we thinking clit? Are we thinking clit dick?
That's a great question. I mean, like, lump doesn't make it seem that big.
Right, lump makes it so it's not a Transformer situation where they've got both a node and a spike. It seems like this is one universal genital. But which is the question?
One universal genital.
Ooh, Bimo moaned softly as the cloth rubbed up against his hardening member. So that's one piece of evidence towards the
more penis.
And his more penis would be a pretty good t-shirt too. And his hips bucked upwards in a futile attempt to get more friction. Neptr laughed and pushed his hips back down gently. Well, I guess that answers that question, ha-ha, he said with a carefree laugh, but it suddenly disappeared and his face went hard. His gray eyes flashed with lust. So, I guess maybe Neptr also didn't know what was underneath Bimo's dress that he's apparently wearing.
I gotta find out.
He practically threw himself on Bimo as he began attacking his neck with lips, teeth, and tongue. He held Bimo down by his hips and he teased him, placing his knee on the video game's crotch.
Put that on a t-shirt.
And massaging him roughly. Oh, Glob, Neptr, please, more, he panted, clinging to the back of Neptr's shirt as he attempted to break out of his tight grasp. Neptr stroked his hip gently, sometimes moving to his inner thigh, where his fingertips would cruelly brush against his hardening member. There's member again. He continued to suck on his neck, every moan that left Bimo's mouth reaching his ears and sending a throb down to his own hard erection. So Neptr, apparently, I mean, that sounds pretty explicit, hard erection. Suddenly he sat up, a long string of saliva collecting his bottom lip to Bimo's neck. And he grabbed, again, we've got artificial robot saliva. We haven't had any unfortunately, yet in this episode.
We haven't had any pre.
But we've got robot saliva.
Are we going to go through a whole episode with no pre?
Carefully but quickly, he removed the shoes and tossed them to the floor. Maybe he's going to pre in his shoes. And began to slide his dress up his legs, making the video game shudder.
Oh my god.
Maybe, there's a lot of controversy in the world right now about gendered pronouns, right? And I think the closest we've gotten to this point is Futurama, where the David Cross voiced the second Futurama movie, Bender's Big Score. The David Cross voiced universe-encompassing tentacle monster that overtook everybody on the planet Earth, and they asked him whether it was male or female, and he said he's neither, and he prefers to be referred to as Sklee. I think that was the closest that we had, but maybe now video game. Maybe we just call everybody video game.
It's a little long, though.
Yeah, it is. VG?
That's fine.
We call everybody VG. Yeah. Finally, Neptune removed Bemo's dress and threw it to the floor along with his discarded boots, revealing at the nude creature below him. I think there's a word missing there. It was an awe-inspiring sight indeed. The blush that dusted his cheeks moved his normally green skin to a more pinkish color, and his hairless chest rose and fell with every shuddery breath he took, and his own swollen cock stood at attention as a drop of pre-cum trickled down its length. Folks, we are 19 for 19. We almost missed it. Whew! Thank you, author of this piece. I don't remember your name anymore. Something about a ship.
I was scared.
I didn't read this all the way through either, which is partially why the reason I missed. I think that they were anthropomorphized, and also I honestly wasn't sure whether the pre was going to show up.
Because I can't remember if there's any in my third story, so I was...
Neptune wondered how something could look so innocent, yet so dirty at once. Bemo's lidded green eyes glanced up at Neptune, waiting nervously for his next move. "Oh, Bemo," he said with a small smile, "you were more beautiful than," spelled with a E, "I could have ever imagined." "Thanks," he relied with a smile, and his blush deepened. "Such a fine figure," Neptune continued, running his hands up and down Bemo's sides. "So petite, feminine even, and it's all mine." So again, we're getting a lot of mixed signals. We're getting female or feminine form, but we're getting member, and there's a dress. And we haven't, and the pre-cum was from Neptune,
right? Not
from Bemo.
So Neptune's gender was never in question.
I don't think so, no. But Bemo's, we're still wondering here. A grin spread across his lips as Bemo leaned down to give his neck a small love bite, licking the spot right after. Bemo sighed, running a hand through Neptune's gray hair, encouraging him. He was enjoying being treated this way, being pleasured and savored. Treated as if he were the most important person, I think you mean video game, in the world. But no matter how much he enjoyed it, he wanted to get it moving along. Raising on hand and lowering the other, he grabbed the hem of Neptune's patched shirt, pulling it up to reveal the dull robot's flat stomach. Neptune, figuring out what he wanted, sat up and continued to pull it up over his head, tossing it to the wooden floor along with all the other pieces of clothing. "Want me to keep going?" he asked, moving his fingers down to the button on his pants. Only if you let me help," Bemo replied, sitting up and grabbing the other's pants. He popped the button and, they probably meant undid the button, but I'm hoping he means and it goes flying across the room, and placed his fingers on the zipper. He paused, then stopped. Pretty sure those are the same thing. Removing his hands away from his pants. "Hey, why did you He watched Bemo lean down to take the zipper between his teeth and pull it down with his mouth. Sake. He licked his lips at the hot imaging doing on down between his spread legs. Hold on, I'm going to read that again. Please. He licked his lips at the hot imaging doing on down between his spread legs. Those are all of the words, folks. Not a correct... Didn't misread any of those. Raising his hips slightly so Bemo could pull off his pants, he could feel himself throbbing painfully. Neptune could feel as Bemo caressed the twitching organ with his mouth through his underwear, making him squirm and groan in response. Bemo noticed this and continued to tease him, gently rubbing him and occasionally rising up to lick at the area of his stomach right below his belly button. Now the robots have belly buttons even.
Yeah, this is totally the fan art that I showed you.
He moaned and looked down at him. Bemo, stop teasing, he cried out, panting. He obliged to the larger one and grabbed his boxers.
That's how I want to be referred to in the sex scene. The larger one.
And grabbed his boxers, pulling them down with a quick tug. Neptune's cock sprung free from its cloth prison, and Bemo attacked it with his mouth and hands. Neptr let his tongue flop out of his mouth as he grabbed the back of Bemo's head. The console, or console! Console would be a good one. That's better than video game, or PG even. Let's all be consoles, folks. Wrapped his lips around the head as the tip of his tongue flipped across its pre-cum covered slit. Yeah. Yes, he moaned as Bemo continued to pleasure him. Grunting, he placed his hands on top of his head, gently tugging on the green strands of his hair. Bemo let his eyes flutter shut, and he raised a hand to the length of Neptr's erection that wasn't covered by his mouth, slowly pumping him with his hand. It felt wonderful. Bemo's tight, warm mouth wrapped around him in such an erotic way. It was a beautiful sight, watching his most secretive and dreamt-about fantasy finally come true. He could feel the video game's mouth begin to slowly go lower. Weird. I will laugh every time that's written. Slowly go lower, taking him deeper until the very tip of his member to brush against the back of his throats.
How many throats does he have?
I'm sorry. It was only throat. I threw that SN by accident. It was the very tip of his member to brush against the back of his throat, though. Bemo's eyes flew open, and he's lurched slightly, gagged, and the never-ending pie-throwing robot's eyes widened. See, they still refer to him as a robot here, though.
I hear that.
Widened as he cried out in ecstasy. His hands fisted in Bemo's hair. Okay,
that's your favorite phrase again.
His hands fisted in Bemo's hair as he forced his hips to stay still. He didn't want to choke the video game. That's my new favorite phrase in English.
Choke the video game?
Choke the video game. Tears. Sorry. Give me a second to collect myself. Tears sprung in Bemo's eyes, but they were quickly forced back. You know how your eyes do that. They suck. You suck tears back into them. They were quickly forced back. The last thing he wanted to do was ruin the mood that had been created by crying. That could be taken two different ways also. Slowly, he raised his head until just his lips kissed Neptr's tip and then lowered his head again, once again causing Bemo to gag and Neptr to cry out shamelessly. Oh, Glob, this is heaven, the gray robot thought. They broke that into two sentences where they probably shouldn't have. The gray robot thought as Bemo's throat trembled and closed around him multiple times. Through lidded eyes, he glanced down at the green-skinned video game, and noticing the tears in his eyes,
I thought they sprung back.
I thought they did too. Getting mixed messages here. A lot of them, actually. Struggling to hold himself there. Bemo, baby, Neptr said softly, you don't have to take it all in. I don't want you to throw up. Oh, God, I need more alcohol. Bemo heard this.
You're doing sex right. Funny story now.
I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. Bemo heard this, but refused to do as Neptr suggested. He could do it. He just needed to relax. Slowly, taking in a deep breath through his nose, he relaxed his throat muscles. Neptr watched in silent fascination as Bemo rose back up and went down again and again and again. He let out a gritty, groan-like sigh and watched Bemo for a bit longer before letting his eyelids fall shut. The video game listened to the robot's moans and grunts, eating up every second of it, literally.
Wow.
He moaned around the throbbing girth in his mouth, making Neptr cry out and raise his hips off the bed slightly. Ma, Bemo, yes! He pressed down on the back of the other's head, panting and groaning loudly as Bemo continued to suck him. He was getting close. He could feel it. The warm feeling in his stomach spread... Sorry, I paged down too far.
You do that a lot.
Yeah, sorry. I need to turn down my magnification, probably. Edit point. He was getting close. He could feel it. The warm feeling in his stomach spread as Bemo made love to him with his mouth and tongue. Oh, God, Bemo, I'm about to... Neptr exclaimed as the video game's lips clamped around him tightly, and he sucked hard one last time, flicking his tongue across the pulsing vein underneath the quivering organ in his mouth. Neptr's vision blurred, and he saw stars as he shot his milky semen into Bemo's mouth. He panted loudly as Bimo moaned in satisfaction. He continued to lap at the slit of Nepter's now limp cock, making sure to get every last drop while not allowing any of the cum in his mouth to drip out. The never-ending pie-throwing robot opened his eyes to see Bimo sit up and swallow the contents in his mouth. A dark green tongue flicked out of his mouth and slid slowly across his lips, a devious look on his face. Bimo moaned out, leaning forward. You taste delicious, he said, a blissful look on his features. Nepter smiled weakly, rubbing the other's thighs. Do you need my help to prepare? No, I'd much rather you just watch, Bimo replied with a grin. What are we about to see? Slowly, Bimo raised his left hand to his mouth, licking his pointer finger from base to tip, sliding it into his mouth afterwards. Nepter watched, absorbed in what Bimo was doing. He then proceeded to do the same to his middle, ring, and pinky finger until all 4 appendages were in his mouth. No. He sucked at them delicately, watching Nepter as he pulled the fingers from his mouth, a long string of saliva connecting the digits to his bottom lip before breaking.
Stop connecting things with saliva, guys. It's not cool.
He lowered his hand to his behind and began to gently slide the first finger into his shuddering hole. He gasped and let out a small, high-pitched grunt as he slid his finger inside himself, slowly pumping and wiggling the digit. The gray robot could feel himself become hard again at the sight. Watch Bimo prepare and pleasure himself for him. A drop of sweat. Now these definitely are not robots. Rolled down the side of his face as he continued to watch Bimo, enjoying the show. A blush stretched across his face as he added another finger. He winced and let out another small cry as he began scissoring himself. Now that's...
Oh, okay, scissoring his fingers.
Right.
Okay.
Nepter placed a hand on Bimo's hip, rubbing his skin softly. He let his head fall back and began to rise and fall back onto his fingers just as he added the third and fourth into himself.
Wow.
The gray robot swallowed hard and began to gently stroke his cock back to life as he watched the console finger himself.
I'm saying a little, what are they, the clear.
Yeah, defibrillator. Bimo could feel his insides begin to stretch and adjust to the intrusion. That's one of the more unsexy sentences ever written. And a few more pumps later, he removed his fingers and looked down at a very turned-on Nepter. He lied down on top of him, kissing his jaw and breathing heavily on his skin. I'm ready, he whispered gently, nibbling softly on his earlobe. You have no idea how long I have waited to hear those words, Nepter whispered back as he grabbed Bimo by the hips, flipping him over. He flopped underneath him, looking at Nepter with large green eyes, meeting the other's gray ones. Don't worry, I promise to be gentle, Nepter said with a smile. Bimo smiled up at him, blushing still. I know, he replied as he glanced down in between them, enjoying the rather large, erect organ hanging between Nepter's thighs. Nepter picked up one of Bimo's legs and placed it over his shoulder, sliding closer to him. He attempted to mentally prepare himself for the pain as he kissed him, slowly pushing inward. Bimo's eyes widened and he let out a muffled cry of pain. He had assumed correct.
You know, if he just had his whole hand in there, like, how big is this dude?
Well, it might be more of a length thing than a girth thing.
I guess.
Because, I mean, my fingers are only... Again, we're not talking about people. We're talking about anthropomorphized pie-throwing robots. So who knows how long... When Finn and Jake created Nepter, they obviously gave him an enormo cock.
Clearly. I mean, what else would they do? If you were a teen boy...
Fully erect cock was a bit larger than his slender fingers. There you go. He stopped, allowing Bimo the time to adjust to his size. He trembled, sweat dripping down his brow, trying to keep relaxed so it wouldn't hurt as bad. He could feel Nepter shipped above him, one of his hands moving up to his chest to tease one of his pert nipples. Now! Okay. Nepter's attempt to distract him from the pain. He leaned forward, kissing, sucking, and licking at Bimo's neck, shutting him down softly. The console trembled lightly as he felt himself begin to slowly adjust to the intrusion. Keep going, he mumbled, and Nepter nodded, sliding a little deeper inside of him, stopping when Bimo cried out again. No, Nepter, keep going. What? Bimo, that would hurt like... I know. I want it to hurt. I want you to make me scream, to make me beg for it. A blush came across the gray robot's cheeks, and he smiled. I didn't expect a masochist, but I guess I can try. Oh, I know you can. I want all of Ooh to hear me.
Oh.
Nectar smirked.
But he's such a cute little machine.
I know, it's expectation subversion. It's my favorite thing. Nectar smirked and gripped the smaller one's hips tightly. Well, I am sorry in advance, he said, then quickly snapped his hips forward.
More sexy sound.
Sexy songs.
Sexy lines to try in bed.
Bemo's eyes widened suddenly, and he wailed loudly, arching his back and wincing at the same time. He could feel his insides tearing, and tears, I'm assuming that's tears and not tears, sprung up in his eyes as Nectar pulled out roughly just to slam himself back in.
Tearing his insides? That's not healthy, man.
Yeah, no, he's never gonna fucking play adventure properly ever again. None of his games are going to work. His back arched again and he screamed, his eyes flying open and his fingernails dug harshly into Nectar's shoulders. He could feel his tears falling down his cheeks, but they were quickly licked up by Nectar's tongue. He could feel Nectar pulling out again, and he tried to relax so it wouldn't hurt, but it didn't seem to matter. He slammed into him again, moaning and panting at the same time. It hurt, oh glob it hurt, but he didn't care. After a few more of Nectar's forceful pumps, it began to seem like Nectar was hunting for something. No two thrusts being at the same angle twice. He had no idea what Nectar was looking for until he hit it dead on. Robot prostate. It's here. Did we even have that in the Transformers? I don't remember a prostate now that I think about it.
I don't know.
They had everything, but I don't remember prostates. With one perfectly angled stroke, he rubbed up against the small nub he had been hunting for. Oh, wait, so maybe it's not the prostate. Wait, what? Now I'm just confused. He's inside, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they say that the prostate is like a small nub. Like, it's like you can feel it.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh. Never felt my own.
I retumbled a dealie about how to write better butt sex.
Prostates.
No, for real.
There's not enough good roles for prostates in Hollywood right now.
You should check it out. Very educational stuff.
With one perfectly angled stroke, he rubbed up against the small nub he had been hunting for, and Bemo screamed, "Oh, glob, Nectar! Again! Oh, glob, please, again!" He screamed, all the while raising his hips, trying to get Nectar to continue. He smirked and pulled out again, thrusting hard into Bemo's prostate. So, all right, there you go. No more mystery. He cried out again, clawing at Nectar's back as the pleasure quickly replaced the pain. Kira is turning her Microsoft Service Pro to read to me. I mean, I guess it's a no.
How many times have you had your finger in a dude's butt? It might be really obvious.
I mean, not many that I can remember. How to finger a man's anus.
I'm telling you, I retumbled this. It's really useful information.
I use Tumblr, so
Well, you should.
He smirked and pulled out again, thrusting back hard into Bemo's prostate. He cried out again, clawing at Nectar's back as the pleasure quickly replaced the pain. He laid underneath him, happily allowing his behind to take the abuse that Nectar was more than willing to give. He was growing close, and it seemed the larger robot could tell. He's almost about to go over the side. The video game console was unable to think clearly, crying out and speaking in incoherent sentences. Suddenly, Nectar grabbed his erection roughly, pumping him in time with his thrusts. They were rocking in time with each other, Bemo slowly getting closer and closer to release. Soon, all Bemo could mutter was Nectar's name, over and over again, like a mantra. Neither of them wanted it to end, but things as good as this could never last forever. That's a t-shirt. Finally, Nectar leaned down to Bemo's ear and whispered, "Come for me." That was all it took. It was all it took. His body obeyed the command, and with one last hard thrust afterward, Bemo lost it. He came hard, and with one last cry of his lover's name, he shot his hot, sticky load onto his chest and into his hand. Bemo's behind suddenly tightened, and a few pumps later, Nectar came.
Behind.
Once again inside him, they both sat there panting, sweat dripping down their bodies as they basked in the glory of what they just did. Slowly, Nectar pulled out, a bit of his cum dripping out of Bemo along with it. The video game sighed and watched as Nectar practically fell beside him. Bemo looked up at Nectar and scooted a bit closer to him. He smiled as he picked up the gray robot's hand, silently lapping his own semen off his skin. Eee. Nectar blushed as he watched, and when Bemo was done, he moved his chest and licked until Nectar was completely clean of the white substance. He He sighed, placing an arm around BMO's waist. He looked up, licked his lips, and then cuddled up next to Neptr. After a pause of silence, he spoke up. Hey, Neptr? Yes? I'm sorry for what I said earlier. I didn't hate you. Still don't. I was just jealous that Finn and Jake were spending more time with you than me. Neptr smiled and softly kissed his forehead. Oh, BMO, it's okay. You do not have to apologize. I love you, and I cannot be mad at you. Thank you, Neptr, and I guess I love you too. And I will be sure to play with you more often from now on, Neptr continued, and BMO blushed. Not exactly sure how to take that sentence.
I'm not sure either.
Well, I suppose now we will have to find some way to get Finn and Jake out of the house more often. Neptr giggled. Yes, BMO nodded, then reached down, pulling the blanket over them. Well, good night, Neptr. I love you. Good night, BMO. I love you too. Man, they're really into that all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, BMO hated him like fucking 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, all it takes is
a good hard deep dickin'.
Yeah.
And kissed the top of BMO's head and sat up, sliding off the bed. Oh, Neptr, he heard BMO say behind him. He turned, blinking. Yes, beautiful? Yes, smiling?
Get away.
Do you think you could stay with me in bed, at least until I fall asleep, please? The video game asked quietly, twirling a bit of his hair with his pointer finger and glancing away from any contact with Neptr's eyes.
This is disgusting. It's crossed the line.
Okay, but at this point we know that BMO is definitely a dude, right?
Yeah.
Because he shot his load all over his own chest.
Right.
And he's got prostate.
Right.
His smile widened a bit and he slipped back into bed. Of course, BMO, would you like me to sing you a lullaby as well? What the fuck? The console made a scoffing sound and held out his arms. Just shut up and hold me. He laughed and wrapped his arms around BMO. Their bodies pressed tightly together. BMO clinging to him like a small child. Ew. There was a long pause of silence until a muffled voice broke it. Yes, please. Neptr laughed again and softly began to sing to a now fully content BMO. So, you still got a story. I have a question to ask you that I wrote about this. So after all that, and how much I enjoy Transformers fucking, do you think I'm just into robots?
I think you might be.
I've never sexually been to a robot. I said those words slightly out of order.
Yeah. What about a sex robot?
And I'm still not. No, not sex robot either, weirdly enough.
Sex robot.
So don't get it twisted. I don't want to fuck a robot. Mm-hmm. I'm not like beating off to robots fucking, but I am just enjoying the idea
of it.
Non-sexually enjoying the idea of robots fucking.
You're
very sexually
enjoying the thought of robots sexually.
Yes. Help? I wrote in all caps.
Why help? It's good.
The more I read the story, though, the more that they weren't actually robots.
Right.
I think they're like those OS Chan things. Right. But they're still kind of like they kept calling him a video game console and infinite pie throwing robot and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that went on for a while, but there was a lot in that I enjoyed.
Enjoyed is a strong word, but yes. That was a good one.
Okay, so you've got one more, and this one I think you specifically asked me not to
steal.
Do,
yeah, because I loved it so much. Yeah. Like, I was sitting here reading this morning with Callie on my lap, and I was actually LOL'd a lot. So,
one day, your kid is going to be on trial for something. I don't know what, but they're going to introduce into evidence these podcasts as...
Like, this was happened during her formative years. She sat there and listened to this.
Yep.
And I'll be like, yeah, worst parent ever, perhaps. Okay, so, this one, it's called The Stripper and the Hero by Who's Watching You on fanfiction.net, which I gotta say feels a little threatening. This is a Marceline by Finn story.
Okay.
In which, well, I'll let it speak for itself. The author's note says, M for reasons. No way I can really describe this. Please.
I really hate when they say that, by the way. Reasons could mean literally anything. And if they're really those reasons, then it should be E, not M. I ran into several of those that said that exact thing, and it drives me fucking bonkers. I don't like it.
Please realize that leaving rude reviews is not the way to tell me I did bad. I realize I made mistakes. You don't need to tell me. So I'm going to have to look at the reviews to this story later.
Okay, that'll be our segment. Oh, by the way, what are you drinking? We're only 2 hours late on this one. I am drinking, Kera made me a mint julep earlier. It was delicious, and I am now drinking Buffalo Trace bourbon whiskey straights.
Out of a red Solo cup.
Out of a red Solo cup, because when you come in a car, it's better to bring that than your Crystal Rocks glass.
Besides, I already have so many of your glasses here.
That's a good point. Anyway, you are drinking.
I'm still working on that mint julep.
Yeah.
I'm a slow drinker.
You changed, man. Actually, no, you haven't.
No.
We're just old now, so it's harder to get drunk.
Yes. So anyway, I'm just going to dive right in here. Marceline was called a slut at school lots of times, mostly because she was a stripper. She was in college, and she needed her job to pay for the apartment she lived in. Finn was a student at her school as well. Finn had never dated one girl, let alone kiss one, but saved tons of girls. He was the school hero. One day, when Marceline went to work, just before it was her turn to go on, she saw Finn in the crowd. She went to the stage in her cowgirl outfit. It was a vest...
Sorry, I'm picturing Marceline in a cowgirl outfit.
Well, you'll be able to picture it a lot more clearly in a second. It was a vest that started at the tip of her boobs and ended 1 inch below the end of her boobs. And she had a skirt that started at the top of her happy area and ended at the top of her thighs. She had underwear on, but no bra. Finn's eyes widened in the crowd. Marceline walked up to the pole, looked into the crowd, and rubbed her stomach against it. Against the pole, not the crowd.
Right.
I really prefer it the other way.
Wee!
She climbed the pole a bit and wrapped her legs around the pole tight. Her hands let go, and near the bottom...
Pole.
Her hands let go, and near the bottom they grasped it again. Her back humped the pole. The people in the crowd cheered and wooted.
At the pole. They wanted her to see. They wanted her to do more things to the pole. All of them wished they were the pole.
Give me a second. This is all one paragraph, by the way.
Not surprised.
She flipped back onto the stage, and another girl came out in a bandit outfit. She had on a black shirt that covered her tits and small black shorts. Marceline took the other girl's bandit shirt off and took her cowgirl shirt off. They rubbed their tits against each other. Soon they started humping each other. Marceline took her skirt off and went off the stage. All she had on was underwear. She started dancing like a whore and
She's off the stage and she's dancing like a whore?
People!
Oh, so she went down into the crowd.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that meant she went back into the back.
No.
Okay,
She's
I got
dancing
you.
like a whore, and people put tons of money in her underwear. I'm just picturing granny panties, and they're just gramming it full of dollars.
Yes, those are the most full you can get of dollars.
She went up to a man and licked his cheek. She went up to Finn and made out with him. She didn't usually do this, but since it was Finn's first time, he would never know that Marceline really liked Finn. The crowd focused on the girl with shorts. Marceline stopped swapping spit with Finn and went back to the stage. She made out with the shorts girl. Marceline didn't like it, but it was part of her job, and her boss said guys find it sexy. At the end of the night, everyone left besides Finn and Marceline. Marceline still had just underwear on. She sat at the end of the stage, looking sad. Finn sat next to her and put his arms around her. I never knew you worked here, he said. Of course you did. Everybody knows that. I'm called a hoe at school. Everyone knows I'm a stripper and work here. I don't listen to gossip. It just hurts other people's feelings. I save people, not destroy them. That's good, Finn. The first girl who dated you was very lucky. I've never dated anyone. That's surprising, Finn, but I've never dated either, so I shouldn't be talking. You were my first kiss, too. You were too, Finn. So I'm going to pause here for a second. She just said that she doesn't usually make out with people at work.
Right.
So that means that she has made out with people at work before. So how is he her first kiss?
Right. Maybe. Okay, so I'm guessing here, but you know how people who do porn or prostitutes or whatever,
they don't think it counts?
They're right. They don't count it as sex. They think of it as fucking. maybe swapping spit isn't necessarily
But she did it with Finn.
Kissing. I mean, it said swapping spit, but I'm just using it.
Right.
You know what I mean? How they might...
But if she's currently at work, wouldn't that...
But because it was him, and she likes him.
Alright. You were my first kiss, too. You were too, Finn. And I think I knew who my second is going to be.
That doesn't count. It doesn't work that way. Well, maybe it works that way.
No. You're still the same person.
Right, but it's your second kiss.
No. So they... Oh, well, I'll just go ahead and read it. They leaned in to kiss, their lips pressed. At first it was light. Then Marceline stuck her tongue in Finn's mouth. Finn's tongue lunged at Marceline's, and they didn't dominate at all. All that happened was their tongues moving circular against each other's. Finn's hands lunged at Marceline's ass. Marceline bit his lip gently to make him stop. Marceline stopped it and put a tank top on. Finn said goodbye and left. A few minutes later, Marceline locked up and went home.
Please tell me that's the end.
No.
Please.
I'm sorry,
damn it.
We haven't gotten to my favorite part yet.
Hold on.
It can't be over.
So real quick, before we... Has there... Maybe I just missed it. There's been no mention of Marceline being a vampire, right?
Correct.
Okay, so she's just a girl. She's just a slutty whore ho girl.
She dances like a whore.
Who dances like a whore.
Right. And
okay.
People fill her underwear with dollars. So the next day, we come in on a scene between Finn and Jake. Okay, Jake, I did your fucking dare, man. Give me $20, Finn said, obviously pissed. You went to her stripper club and kissed her, Jake asked, surprised. Yeah, you dickhead, and give me my money. I did it, okay? I kissed the whore. Give me my money. Why are you so pissed, man? It was her first kiss, you shithead. I feel so fucking guilty, man. This might be some of the dirtiest stuff I've ever read.
I love this so much.
So, Jake gives him the money and is like, whoa, dude, calm yourself. And so Finn goes around the corner and Marceline is there and she heard the whole exchange.
Oh, God, no.
And so she runs away and she's so upset and he says, no, it was a misunderstanding. I went there because it was a dare, but I really, I meant it.
She's all that at him.
Yeah.
But with whore dancing.
Right. So she says to leave her alone, and she runs off. And so he goes to the store and buys a rose and goes to her apartment. And then that's the end of chapter 1, and here comes chapter 2. Which is the end.
That's all it says.
No.
All right, thanks everybody for listening to Slash and Burn.
No, my favorite bit's coming up. The sex scene is my favorite bit. So he gives her the rose and she sucks the red out of it. Yeah.
For those of you who don't watch the show, Marceline is a vampire, but she doesn't drink blood. She just eats red. So if she has an apple, she can suck the red out of the apple. It becomes a white apple, and she has gotten sustenance from that.
The book with the bunny that would suck the juice out of the vegetables when we were little. Funicula.
Nope. Oh, fuck! Wow.
Yeah, I loved those books so much. So much.
Forgot all about that. Anyway.
Yeah. So much so that there was a cat, or an orange cat in the books named Chester. When we got Mako, I wanted to name him Chester, but Chris would not go with it. I don't think he knew the reasoning behind it. I think he just thought it was a dumb name. But,
I mean, it's a pretty dorky name.
But it meant something to me.
Sorry to any listeners named Chester.
He's not really sorry. He's actually flipping you off while he talks. He's making the slow jerk motion. He is actually doing it now. Anyway, I'm sorry I called you a whore, Marceline. I like you a lot, and having an awesome vampire as a girlfriend would be... I forgive you, and I will be your girlfriend. Now get in here. Finn walked in. Marceline had a bigger living room than most apartments. It had a hot pink sofa, a lavender love seat, and a rather large television showing a vampire surviving network. There was a small pink coffee table with a half grapefruit punch glass on it. Yes?
Oh, I gotta change my Twitter name. Go ahead.
Okay. Want to see my room? Marceline said seductively. I doubt that anything said in the story was ever said seductively. Are you on the pill? Finn asked, obviously nervous. Doesn't matter. Before he could answer, Marceline started kissing him. They moved swiftly to the open door of Marceline's bedroom and plopped on her Hello Kitty bed. Marceline took off her shorts and took off Finn's. Finn shoved his hands in her underwear. Marceline took off her underwear instead. He took off Marceline's long-sleeve shirt. He rubbed his hands over the cup of her bra. Marceline took off Finn's shirt.
Is this a bulleted list?
It's more of a packing list. Finn unhooked Marceline's bra and lowered his head to her breasts. He sucked on her left nipple and felt it harden. He started sucking harder. Marceline took off Finn's underwear. She started licking his happy area. Parentheses. Since I am a girl, it is weird to say something like cock or dick, so I am going to stick with happy area. Smiley face. She saw he was coming.
Hey, look at that guy's coming.
She licked the cum instead of his happy area. There it is again, in parentheses.
Oh.
Yeah. No, alright, right. She licked the cum instead of his happy area, parentheses, there it is again, end parentheses, period. Finn stuck his happy area in her clit. Give me a second. I got this out earlier today. When you're done, I want to say something that I already said to Megan earlier today. Because I had to share this gem with someone.
Okay.
This is, as she just told us a couple of sentences ago, written by a lady. Just, the public school system has failed this woman.
I mean, I guess we don't know how old she is.
Unless she is, like...
8.
8. This should have been addressed.
It's happy area in her
Marceline screamed. It soon turned to moaning.
That's what happens when somebody puts something in my clip.
Finn went faster and faster with the thrusts, each moan. Marceline slipped out of her piercing red lips. They heard a knock at the door. They completely ignored it. The knock continued for 3 minutes. They finally decided to put on clothes. Marceline opened the door. So, again, here's the way this went. She took his pants off and licked his happy area.
He instantly fucking blew everywhere.
She saw that he was coming.
Mm-hmm.
She licked it up. He then sticks his happy area in her clit. And then they just thrust for a while until they decide to answer the door. I'm not entirely sure how much enjoyment anybody got out of this encounter.
Apparently a lot.
Well, so after 3 minutes, they finally
decided
to put
say
clothes
that?
on.
Does it, like parentheses after 3 minutes?
No. They heard a knock at the door. The knock continued for 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
They finally decided to put clothes on. Marceline opened the door. Jake, Marceline asked, what are you doing here? I came to take you away, Jake said. Jake, I told you, I don't like you. Leave. Finn walked up to the door. Why are you here, Pipsqueak? Marceline grabbed Jake by the neck. Don't you dare call him that ever again. So, apparently, Jake has been putting unwanted advances on her.
And so that was his ulterior motive for...
Yeah, I guess.
Seems like a weird way to go about it, but okay.
Yeah. So, she's got him by the neck. I can't tell if it's with her hands or her teeth. Her vampiring teeth. I'm not sure. Let go of me, bitch. Finn grabbed his sword and put it at his neck, threatening to set it in. Jake said something he would regret, because when he said it, Finn slit his throat.
But it doesn't say what it was?
No. Marceline sucked in the blood so no one would see it. And now there's some asterisks, and it says 3 months later. Can you guess what's going to happen?
She is pregnant with a dog baby.
Dog baby?
Yeah, I thought it was Jake's baby.
Well, I don't know. We're about to find out. Marceline looked shockingly at the pregnancy test. Shit. How could I have been so stupid? Finn knocked on the closed bathroom door. Everything all right, Marceline? Marceline walked out of the bathroom with a slightly bigger belly and a positive pregnancy test in her hand. That's how it works. That's when you get the test results, automatically bump.
It's like The Sims. Like,
yeah,
bump.
Exactly. The baby music plays and then there it is. And then 6 months after that, Marceline was holding their baby girl in her hands. Julie? Ew, Finn, no. Min? Marceline glared at him. Moving on, he said, looking away from Marceline's flaming eyes. Finn took their baby in his arms and looked into her eyes. They were light magenta and blinked constantly. They were just like... Meadow? Finn asked. I love it. So you can imagine the awesome life they lived. They had 2 more kids and loved all of them. They had grandchildren. Their whole life was complete. The end. All
from slamming his special area inside her clit.
Yep.
That was spectacular. I enjoyed that.
I'm glad that you liked it as much as I did, because I was afraid that maybe I was the only one really getting something out of this one, but man.
That was good. I like that. At first I thought they just ignored Marceline being a vampire, but then obviously at the end they didn't. I don't like Finn killing Jake.
It's funny you should say that. I'm looking again.
Yeah, please read the comments.
Someone says, so many drama bombs. As though they're reading this and are really on the edge of their seat.
They're spacing it out. Like, I'm not going to binge this. I'm going to read a paragraph a day in the next 3 months.
Another commenter says, you went too far with Jake. Another commenter says, I liked it until Jake died. Not cool. Another commenter said, is it possible to have a fanfic where the female main character doesn't get preggers? Agreed. Another commenter says, in my opinion, did great. The only problem being the awkward line skips everywhere. So
page breaks?
Yeah, I think they're only... Jake and Finn should be brothers or friends. It's good, but you went too far when you killed Jake.
Right. I get AU and all that shit, but I don't. I have a real hard time.
Wow, very great story. I don't know what to say. Like, the killing Jake thing was kind of different, and having a kid was really disturbing, spelled wrong, for me. But besides that, great job.
Why is that the start? Alright.
I have a question. You do know that a man cannot stick his penis into a girl's clit, right?
Oh my god, please tell me there's a reply. Please tell me there's a reply.
No.
Oh, damn it.
I'm so sorry. This story...
I was hoping it would be like, she's a vampire, duh. Or like...
Yes, please.
Everybody knows vampires have inverted clits.
Try to work on elongating your stories.
I feel about fanfiction the way most people who don't listen to our podcast feel about podcasts. Like, if I see like 1,000 words, I'm like, sweet. 2,000 words, like, I can deal. 30,000 words, over that, I'm like, I ain't got time for this shit. Thank you for listening again, everybody, and thank you again for listening. And thank you again for listening again, everybody. That was Adventure Time. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Our downloads are still crushing. We are hearing from people way more. Thank you to, and this is just a short list. If I missed you, God, I'm sorry. Also, you don't know when I recorded this, so get off my nuts. Princess Nightingale. Olivia, I don't know if you want your last name on here. At Opalinia, at Moneypenny, Nicholas Huckleby, at Paperchaser175, and others. They have all gotten at us on Twitter and email. I think there were some Tumblr people. I don't know if you have their names ready to go. If not, it's fine.
I'm looking. I mean, I've got a lot of retumbles and stuff, but Gator Girl continues to give us. Yeah,
Gator Girl has given us a lot of good shit. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We're still working on sound issues. The most recent thing I've heard is that now things are clear, but I sound far away. I tried sitting closer to the mic this
time. You seem really distant lately. Sorry.
But so we're going to continue to work on this stuff until we sound pristine, I swear. God damn it. Because nothing makes me angrier when we record something that I think is awesome and then I listen to it and I sound weird or I'm clipping or whatever. Like, it's next on the list, we finally, at the last minute, had a winner of the Steve will send you $5 on PayPal if you find Kira's Etsy shop contest. It was our first ever contest. I will send that money out just as soon as I get confirmation that the email address that I was emailed from is the email address that their PayPal account is. I haven't gotten that back yet, so I haven't sent the money, but I will. Thank you for someone finally. God, I was feeling really neglected the fact that no one had sent that in yet.
Me too.
We only got one entry. It was correct. They did find it. Speaking of that, with Kira, was there anything you finally want to plug?
No, not yet, but I did buy the supplies.
God damn it.
I'm sorry. I bought the supplies, so maybe next... Maybe by the next recording, I will actually have made and listed a thing.
Fine. Way to undercut my whole thing.
I knew this was gonna happen. And yet I washed dishes instead of starting something today. I'm a failure.
Way to domestic, you cis motherfucker. One last thing on the housekeeping front. If you like us, and at first thought that maybe our theme music was charming, but then you grew to hate it with the power of a quasar like I have. Nothing against the person who created our theme music. Thank you for letting us use it for free, but it just doesn't feel like a proper fit to me anymore. We will probably have really good news for you soon. I don't want to jinx it or otherwise fuck it up before it's literally in hand.
But it could be really cool.
But so far, I'm more excited for it than I've been for most things in my life. Great shit. Thank you again for listening. Keep sending in your suggestions. We've got next time is another fandom.
I don't even know anymore. What episode is this?
This is episode 19. Last episode was...
Is this actually 19 or is this episode
This is 19 parenthesis 20.
Okay. So next episode will be our 20th episode?
Technically this is our 20th episode, but yes, next episode will be our 20th episode.
Man, it only took us like 8 years now.
Not
quite.
Nah, it's been 3.
Yeah.
Before this was Tentacles, right?
Yes.
We did Shrek Tentacles.
Yes, Shrek Tentacles.
Adventure Time. So we got another fandom before our next tag. People seem more enthusiastic about sending in tags. That's fine, but if you've got some cool fandoms, send them in. We've gotten some. We've taken a look at some of them. We've bookmarked some of them. Other ones we don't know fucking anything about, so we've shelved them for now, but we might jump into them at some point if we both feel like we need to be surprised and working fuddled. But send it all in. Thank you. Tell your friends. We appreciate it. Anything you want to add last minute?
Nope.
All right, then thanks for listening. I hope this one sounds great. I really, 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 really hope. And until next time, keep your fic near your dick.